Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Strong Hands. Death Becomes You. We are here for a really fun one shot with the one, the only Nerdburger Craig. How are you doing, Craig?
I am doing well. Hello, everybody.
I like that you're in a village and the rest of us are like, we're gonna be
Oh, the background
creepy
will
friends.
change
Ooh,
Oh.
fancy.
as the story progresses.
All right.
Yes.
I've got books because I'm a tree and books are made out of trees. And so, wait, that seems disturbing.
Are they your
Ooh.
babies?
All your dead ancestors
Oh no.
with you forever.
Of course, this is a one-shot sponsored by Craig, so thank you so much, Craig, and thanks for letting us play this. We're all really excited, as you can tell. We've gotten all dressed up at 5 in the morning. Before we get into all the things, I'm just going to go through a quick recap or a quick spiel. So we have our monthly recap out. Definitely go check it out if you're interested in how Roll For It runs. We kind of go through all of that, our ups and downs, and all of the stats and things like that if you're interested in it. We have lots of behind the scenes goodies, including Battle of Andoria stuff coming up. So if you're interested in the Battle of Andorra goodies, there's definitely a whole bunch of stuff coming up soon. It's September, just for a little bit longer. So if you're interested in subscribing to our channel and you haven't subbed before, now is the perfect time to do so because there's lots of deals for new people. Sorry, everybody else who's awesome and has already been supporting us. We love you too. This is Twitch, not us. And then, of course, we have your last chance to grab Legend tier spots this month. I think we have a couple left. I believe we'll be playing a couple different games, and one of them is our Only War, the Last Ditch goodies, so you can actually be part of the campaign that we have going on over there, which is a lot of fun. Beyond that, we're Roll For It everywhere. You can find us in those places, and following us helps support us, and it's a free way to do so. And then, of course, beyond that, if you're interested in becoming a patron, there's a lot of goodies on our Patreon for you, as well as if you're a Twitch or a YouTube subscriber, you get access to our Discord, which has lots of secret stuff, and often you can partake in part of our campaign, like the rear guard for the Last Ditch, which we'll be playing after this. And we had a little bit of a battle at Forandoria where some people got to be part of that, which is a lot of fun. So I think that gets the spiel. I want to give Craig as much time as he needs to run us through this. I'm very excited. So I don't know if you want to first give the little spiel of what Good Strong Hands is, and then of course you'll be teaching us the rules as we go so that everyone else can follow along back home. Are you muted?
Oh,
Hello.
muted.
Okay.
I am
That
Craig
was me
Campbell.
again. I was like,
No, nope, all me. I'm Craig Campbell, the owner of Nerdburger Games. This is going to be a game of Good Strong Hands, which is on Kickstarter right now. It funded back on Tuesday. We hit a stretch goal. We're about halfway through the next one, so we're adding more material to the game book. It's going to get bigger and better. Everything's going well, but obviously, if the game is going to be as good as it can be, the more backers, the better we go.
yes, and I believe we have a link in chat. So if you want to go ahead and click that link, check it out. There's lots of goodies there. We also, if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a link in the description. So click it, go. It helps support us and also Craig. And oh my gosh, Craig, I'm so glad.
The game is inspired by movies like The Neverending Story, Legend, Willow, Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal. Fantastic fantasy stories that are perhaps a bit on the more whimsical side, not quite so traditional that we think of things like Lord of the Rings, but they're some of them that often have a bit of a tinge of darkness to them, and so this game does as well.
Guess who has the darkness on the screen? Just take a wild guess. You might be right. We're not going to spoil it.
All the players will be portraying fantastic creatures from the world of Reverie, which is a lovely fantastical world. If there are any humans in Reverie, they are from Earth, much like in these, at least some of these movies. We'll get around to seeing who we've got here today and learn a little bit more about those fantastic folk. What are they going to be doing? That's the question. The world of Reverie, every few centuries, is beset by a faceless, malevolent entity of destruction and entropy known as the Void. It is not a person. It is not a thing. its only agenda, its only goal is the destruction of Reverie. And every time it rises, heroes rise up to stop it from destroying the world. And those plots may be involve violence and getting into fights with monsters and things, but they also get into dealing with the effects of something like the void arriving in the world and how that might change the world. It also, some stories can deal with people who are caught in the midst of essentially a global crisis, and what happens and what people do when they are dealing with such traumatic events unfolding in their lives. So there's a lot of different stories that we can tell. This story we're going to tell is not a fight 'em, sword swinging kind of thing. Although who knows, there might have to be a little. Some of the characters might have to bring arms to bear, but we will set our stage in the town of Nocturne, which is a small town, just more than a village in the world of Reverie. And Nocturne has a disproportionately large number of ghosts and spirits wandering about that generally wander the streets and the alleys at night, although it's not unheard of them arriving in the day, but there's a good number of them. Nocturne has been that way for some time. All of your characters consider Nocturne home in some respect. It may mean that you were born there and grew up there. You may have lived there for some time. You may simply consider it like a second home because you know so many people there. And the assumption is that you all sort of know each other as well. And the assumption at the point of this one shot is also that the void has arrived and it has been here for a while now. So things have started to get bad. Throughout Reverie, the characters, these four fantastic people, have been standing up to the void and attempting to save their world, and as such, maybe they've succumbed to some corruption and some darkness. We'll find out. But we'll go around and we'll introduce all of the players and what character they're playing, what type of folk they are, what their relationship is, why they consider Nocturne home. And then a little bit, let's just forge some rudimentary connections between the characters to drive us forward in the story. So I guess we can start. I'll just go in the order of my little list, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Maggie, who are you playing?
And then for how our relationships are with each other, do you have like a way that you want to go about that?
Not a specific system, but I think it's easy enough if you just want to offer an idea. Like, for example, my character, it makes sense for them to have some sort of a rival in this area.
Okay.
And so somebody else might volunteer to be that rival. And it's you are all, each other and you're friendly, so it would likely be a friendly rivalry.
Okay.
Where you're just kind of one-upping each other, or some of you might be childhood friends or whatever. I'm pretty open.
Okay. I have an idea of what that is going to be based on some of my skills that I have. Cool. So I'm playing Ninny the Fawn. We are like the goat peoples. She has like these beautiful black horns, and she's got black fur with kind of like this purple like aura to it a little bit. In some places, like her hooves maybe leave like little purple hoof prints and stuff like that, because I think that would be cool if you're down with that, Craig.
Absolutely. I'm going to say, let's go so far as to say that unless they choose not to, fawns always leave colored hoof prints.
Yay!
They can choose to make the color not happen. They'll still leave a hoof print because they are physical beings and they will press into the dirt. But you can turn that off.
Cool. I like it. She's really afraid of being embarrassed because she always wants everyone to like her. And when she performs, she wants everyone to like her performances. And she's also afraid of the dark because bad things happen at night in the dark. She prefers to wander around in the daylight. She's charming and fun-loving and spontaneous. I mean, she's everything you want in a friend, right? In regards to... is that good enough for like covering everything, or would you like? Is there anything else you'd like me to say?
What's your relationship to the town? Unless I missed it. Or
Relationship to the
reorganizing some
town.
things.
I guess maybe I kind of live on the outskirts of the town, so I kind of wander the forest during the daytime. Normally not
But
at night.
You've been there for some time, though. You've
Yes.
come to know the town. All right.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes people come in and out of the town, so I've seen them, and maybe people have spotted me and around. And I guess that I do have somebody who would anybody be interested in being my love?
Ooh.
Ooh.
It pertains to one of my talents, so I feel like I was like, ooh, Bond, that has to be something. And I didn't take it specifically because I didn't know. I didn't want to assume who would want to be my lover. Or it could be like
That's a
I am
90s
fond of you,
Eurodance
right?
song.
That's true.
Platonic love.
Be my lover. Oh, we went to different songs. That's funny.
I would love to be your lover. Also, it would give me a reason to be in the town more.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Would you be
We
fine with maybe I sharpen my horns by using? You know how creatures use trees to
Yeah.
rub their back or sharpen
Yeah,
their
yeah.
horns? Oh, maybe that's how I bumped into you when I
You're
met
a back
you.
scratcher.
Yeah. Get a little booty bumping.
Yeah, grinding for animals.
Perfect. Jersh?
Hi, I'm Jersh, Gaming FTL, and today I am playing Ignior, the Stonekin. And he is a kind of bolder person who has been in the town for a while now. He quite likes it here because it's relatively peaceful, and he watches over it as a gentle protector from a nearby hill. He just kind of sits there, doesn't move, watches out for trouble, and he is generally a gentle, light-hearted person most of the time. And I think there's one person in the town, whoever wants to volunteer for this, that he sees as kind of needing a protector, like a good friend, mentor.
I'll be your friend.
Okay, yeah.
I'll
And
be
we'll
your
find
So-
out. And we'll find out why Tracy's character needs protecting in just a moment.
Probably
yeah.
from the person who's trying to protect her. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No. Honestly, Ignior abhors violence.
You know,
He
Bliss, I
doesn't.
think you're hanging out with the wrong type of people.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ignior isn't the wrong type of people. He's tries to be really nice to everyone, and in fact, he is actually deathly afraid of weapons because of the violence they represent, but also rabbits because they're too fast for him
Yeah.
and they poop everywhere.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, Trooper, who are you playing?
Hey, I'm Trooper, and I'm playing Silvio Woodkin. A woodkin, a chestnut tree. Chestnut trees, an American chestnut, they're super, super tall. So Silvio is an exceedingly tall tree with sort of pale leaves and lots of clusters of nuts that sort of fall, and people will eat them. But the thing about Silvio is that as a woodkin, and again, I'm making this up, in your game it can be different. Woodkin are, when they say if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? The answer is no. If there's somebody else, so we don't like loud sounds because we actually, if there are no other people in the forest when things fall, it actually doesn't make a sound at all. So we're actually it's very quiet in the woods when there are not other kin around to hear it. So we're very nervous about sounds, but Silvio thinks that it's really important, especially when Silvio met Ninny, and thinks it's important to maybe be around Also I'm Afraid of Fires and towns sometimes have fires. It's a little bit tricky. But what I do is, because I've decided that I want to sort of be part of this community, I will come in and I sit in the middle of the town square as the tree of Nocturne, right in this city center. So I'll come in and I will just park myself and root myself right into the city center and be this sort of tree. And, you know, people will come and sit under my shade. I actually have I would call it a tattoo, but it's more like a carving of, like, you know, S plus you know, K and a little heart. Somebody's carved a little heart in their initials in my bark. And I just sort of I've been here for a long time. I just sort of sit in the city center and I watch over the town during the days and nights. And sometimes I get up and walk around because I enjoy going back to the forest, you know, here and then, and meeting with people. But I really enjoy it when I can be useful. For example, sometimes children will scale me and then just sit on my branches, and I think that's pretty cool. And I love to just be able to. I love it when people have some of my take some of the chestnuts and they make a pie or some sort of candied delicious dessert out of it. And so I tend to just be a very sort of large, watchful, positive presence in the town that will give you shade and will sort of be sort of pleasant for you all. I am a bit of a giving tree, as it were, and I will say that I want to know. I imagine that somebody here, one of you all here, has helped me understand how to interact with kin who are. I mean, you all are like much more mobile and active. And like when I first came out of the forest, it was a little bit tricky to sort of deal with this sort of new style because we're kind of solitary in our forest, you know? So I was wondering which one of you is the sort of person who was sort of my mentor, who's given me, who's helped me understand how to interact with the people.
Can Nini be that?
You can. Like, I was like,
And that's how you fell in love.
how do people work, Nini? They move so quickly.
I have a song for that. Just like busts out in a musical song. Maybe
And
some
it's
dancing. There's like flowers that get thrown everywhere and they swirl around. It's beautiful. Also, did you make that mask yourself?
No, this mask I got from the internet.
Well, it's amazing. Lovely.
Thank you.
And it's worth noting that Trooper invented a number of things about treants. I always want to call them treants, even though I wrote the game. Woodkin invented a number of things about Woodkin and kind of how they function in this world. He's not pulling that from the lore written in the book. The game supposes that the players and the GM will create the world together as we go. So a lot of the little details, particularly about the individual folk that they're playing, this is all coming from the players deciding that's how Woodkin are, or that's how fawns are, for our reverie, because we're going to now build the world together and threaten it, and you are going to save your world that you created rather than saving the world that I made for you. And there'll be times when I ask questions specifically to help prompt you into help build the world like that as well. And so let's go to Tracy and find out who she is playing.
Hi, everybody. I'm playing Gliss, the pixie. So Pixie's very, very tiny little creature, probably like a foot tall she is. She has very long flowing hair. She kind of just lets it run wild. And whenever she flies around, it looks very, very glistening in the sky when you see her. Maybe she leaves like a small trail of little like sparkle or little petals when she flies. She is very friendly. She loves to meet new people, so she probably knows everybody in the town, including all of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
probably
she's-
talked your ear off. Or
Yeah.
maybe sang your ear off.
and she'll love to listen. She just loves it. And she will so she's been here in this town for quite some time, not originally from here, but unfortunately Gliss was separated from her family a very long time ago, which is very sad. And I'm sure there are lots of other pixies within Nocturne, but she just enjoys meeting all sorts of people because she doesn't like being alone. She's very much afraid of isolation, so she just always tries to make friends. And yeah, that's her.
I almost picked the alone one because I was like, oh, because I like to be around people, need an audience.
Same.
And Gliss has her her friendly protector who has sort of
Yes.
taken her under his wing, even though he doesn't have wings, but she does.
What's
I'm envious of the
Gliss's
wings.
kind of like bond with everybody else? Give another.
So I think that she probably does hang out with Silvio a lot. Because he's always in the center of town, and she knows that he's there, and she will always flock to him when she's sad. So she will be there very often.
Oh, wait.
I'm not trying to steal your
No,
your love,
I was
don't
saying
worry.
wait because you said you'll be like you said you go there when you're sad, and you said but you'll be there often, and I was like, oh, does that mean she's sad often?
Oh no.
That's what I was saying. Oh no, about not that you were on my territory, girl. I have enough confidence, okay?
I believe it.
All right. Well, the group of you is in the center of town. Simply enough, I suppose would be a good place for you. It's just
Wait,
after
did we do Jersh?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's after me.
Yes, that's right.
in the center of town. After dinner, everybody that has had something to eat has done so, and Silvio is regaling some children who have come to hear tales of the forest. And the group of you are all there as the sun sets and night comes upon us.
Ninny looks really anxious, and it's kind of like it's almost like a potty dance, but it's not. It's the darkness dance.
I'm going to say, go ahead. It was a cloudy day. It is a cloudy night, and the clouds move across the moon, and the shadows change, in the light of the moon, and then you come to realize that the clouds are not moving across the moon anymore. They have stopped, and they are blocking out most of the moon. You can still see the shape of the moon, sort of hazy beyond the clouds. And you can see two kind of eye-shaped openings amongst the clouds. So it's as if the moon is looking out with two eyes from behind clouds as the wind dies away to nothing. And the children who are listening to Silvio's tale grow quiet.
Silvio,
Hmm.
have you heard of this before?
This is disturbing. Craig, in all of my days, have I recalled, I'm an old tree, we live long, have I recalled something like this happening before?
How old are you?
Oh, I'm probably
Let me frame it this way.
You don't just ask. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Are you old enough to have been alive when the void was here last 220 years ago?
Yes, but I was very young.
Very good.
I was a little sapling.
So when you were when you were a sprout,
I was a sprout.
the void came, and during that time you were protected by your family and your family's friends, and you spent a great deal of the time in the forest, but you saw moments like this when the void is well on its way, when it is creeping into all corners of Reverie, that strange phenomena take place. The natural laws don't necessarily function the way they should. It is entirely possible that people in another town 20 miles away are not seeing this same moon this same way as you, but you in this town are. And this sort of thing is most definitely believed by your people to be a portent. There is something amiss, something is coming.
And I say, I sort of my leaves shimmer a little bit, you know, and I just say, this is a bad portent, I'm afraid. When the moon sits peeking through the clouds, and the clouds stop to move, and the wind ceases to howl, it is said that the void grows stronger. I feel it in my roots. It is here.
Gliss kind of flutters by as you're speaking. The void is it's stronger. It's already here. What does that mean? What does that mean for us?
Something will happen tonight here in Nocturne.
We must find a safe place for everyone.
Ninny nods and she kind of runs up around Silvio and kind of snuggles in close to the tree.
And I stretch out one of my branches, and it stretches one of two of my top branches stretch down 20 feet, mid-sized because I'm quite tall, and just envelops you. The branches itself, they stretch about 20
Space
feet
Jam?
longer. Yeah, it's a very Mr. Plastic, Mr. Fantastic,
Yeah.
Mr. Boombastic, but
Yeah.
but it's just to go and envelop you in a sort of a hug that also is a little bit protective as well.
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, a little Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
But would like.
Ninny feels a little bit more comforted by that and less nervous, but she doesn't like the darkness. So it's this overwhelming oh, I like hugs, but also I'm scared. And you can kind of tell that she's shaking a little bit. And normally she's singing and prancing about, but right now she's not. So it's very unlike her.
I think a safe place, and we should make sure everybody else in the town is safe.
Is there in the town a tavern or somewhere communal that everyone can gather together and watch over each other while something like this happens?
There's a tavern that is often used for such things, for gatherings. There's also sort of a meeting hall, which is the seat of government, such as it is. It's where the town elders and the mayor will meet to discuss village business, and it's large enough that it can. If you really packed people in, you could standing room only fit everybody in the village in the meeting hall, but there wouldn't be a lot of extra space. But when when there's concerns and questions and villagers come in to speak to their governors and their elders. So you have both options.
Would you sound the alarm? Because I think that made of stone, you can bang on yourself and make a good clanging sound to alert the villagers that they should gather.
Yes, bang yourself, Josh.
Yeah. Well, it's
right here
it's
live on Twitch.
And it'll be on the internet forever.
Well, I signed up for this. So no, I think all I do is I just clap my hands, just you can hear sparks of shards of rock clanging together really loudly. I'm like, okay, everyone, it's time for the drill.
And as you slam your hands together and you shout in conjunction with that, people can make out your voice, but it also sounds like rocks rolling down on a hillside on rocks. It sounds like a landslide. So it's a noise that carries. A number of people that you see walking about the town that evening start making their way very hurriedly to other places. The children get up and start. Begin quaking. They're afraid, and as you rile them up and alert the town that there is something coming from the northeast corner of the village, which is out toward the forest, that Silvio calls home. There's a great hurry and a pitter patter of very little tiny feet, little jumps, little leaps, and from nowhere you see a group of rabbits that are fleeing for their lives. They are screaming. You've never heard rabbits scream before. They are screaming as they come barreling through the town. A couple dozen of them. Some of them run off in different directions into different parts of the town, but the greater mass of them rolls right through the middle of the square where all of you are. And the children shriek in terror, seeing these lovely fluffy bunnies that they would normally feed carrots to and leaf and lettuce to, and might even try to pet them, being wild. The children panic and begin crying and screaming for their parents.
I would like to calm everyone down if I can.
All right. You can make a charm check for that. To try to calm a group, if you wished.
Okay.
So we'll cover trait checks. In the game, you have 4 traits: body, mind, charm, and heart. Your body is everything physical about your character. Mind is everything intellectual, including your senses and your sort of common sense. Charm is everything charismatic and social about your character. And heart is your character's inner reserve, their fortitude, their resilience, their bravery, as well as the ability to use minor magic. And if any of you has taken a talent that says magic and has a keyword after it, if you would like to try a minor magic, it's an open-ended system. We can talk about that, but you would make a heart check to go with that.
Could I potentially? I think I have an ability that can help with heart checks. If
Sure.
I see,
Well, she's going to be
I'm
making
doing
a
a charm check.
check.
Oh,
She's
okay,
gonna,
gotcha.
She's going to
Gotcha.
talk to them.
Okay, cool.
You'll get a chance. I'll make
Okay.
sure we get a heart check in here.
Cool.
I do have Silver Tongue, which is gain advantage on charm checks to persuade someone to do something or believe in something.
Okay. Every trait is rated 1 through 4. Higher is better. And when you make a trait check, you will roll a number of d6s equal to your check against a target number of 4, 5, or 6. And you're trying to get at least one of your dice to hit that target number or better. If you fail on the check, you fail at the thing you're doing, I can introduce a complication, and then you mark 1 skill on your character sheet. In skill, there's going to be 3 tracks we're dealing with, and skill is a track of check boxes. You'll mark 1 skill. If you succeed with 1 die on your trait check, you succeed, everything works for you. You mark 1 spirit, and spirit is a currency that you'll gain and spend as you go. The most common uses for spirit is to power certain talents that are more powerful. You can also spend a spirit to gain a die on a trait check. If you succeed with 2 or more dice on your trait check, you succeed very well. You gain a boon and something better happens. But you also mark a shadow, because when you are very successful, when you prove yourself competent and heroic, the void notices you and plants seeds of darkness within you in the hope
could be
of
even
corrupting
better.
you. And if you fill your skill track, you advance your character in some way. If you fill your shadow track, you gain a corruption. And if you gain too many corruptions, things go very, very poorly for your character. Corruption is a dark power granted by the void. But if you gain too many, you run the risk of losing your character. Now, Maggie, you have advantage because of a talent. So that gives advantage and disadvantage, add or subtract a die.
Okay. So I normally would have 4 charm, but because I have advantage, I will now roll 5 dice instead.
Correct.
All right, let's see how R&D.
To calm, you're looking to calm the children.
Yes.
We'll call that target number 5.
So I have 2 successes.
Mark a shadow.
Shadow.
And I will say that with
Do I get a
success, you
spirit?
no only spirit only if you get
If I only hit
exactly
one hit.
one.
Yeah. 2 or more is shadow.
But success with a boon, you manage to calm all of the children. They all they're not perfectly calm, but they kind of fall into like quiet whimpering mode rather than loud screaming for their parents mode.
Can
What
I
do you
explain how I
specifically
do
say?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you say?
Nini gets out from Silvo's grasp. Not grasp. Loving embrace. And sees the kids and kind of like rushes forward to kind of like protect them from these little rabbits who are running by, and kind of like corrals them. And as she sees them kind of like shaking and being scared, she sings them a song, and she's like, "Children, oh children, it's going to be fine. Come rally around and we'll play some games." And she just kind of like plays some quick games with them to try to like keep them from like noticing the chaos that's running around them.
They stop screaming and yelling. They fall to just kind of worried whimpering. They try their best to engage in the game that you're creating for them on the spot.
A rabbit comes flinging
they,
by, and
but
she
they
just
are,
like
but they are
she just
sort of looking
pushes one
around
of them
as
with
they're
her
doing this.
horn. Is like, "Don't look that way."
Now, rabbits, Ignior, would you like to tell us how you react here?
Ignore is like visibly disturbed by this occurrence and just sort of plonks himself down and huddles himself together like a big pile of rocks, and just kind of closes his eyes and waits for the rabbits to be somewhere else.
I feel like Liz would notice this because they're good friends, and she kind of flutters over to try to comfort you a bit because she knows you're not a fan of rabbits. So she'll try to just kind of flutter over, and it's okay. They're almost gone. Don't worry about it. They're making their way out.
Oh, they're a bad sign, Gliss.
I know how you feel about them. You know, they're adorable, but they poop everywhere, and they're just not, they're not a fun little creatures. So don't worry though.
They
They're almost
eat
done.
everything.
Hey, but at least they don't eat you. Silvio's the one that's got to worry with, they like to chew on things, but they don't like to chew on stone. So don't worry.
Like his nuts.
As you have this exchange, I'm going to note that rabbits are specifically a fear. This is a game mechanic sort of thing in the game. So as long as there are rabbits to be dealt with, Ignir, you are at disadvantage.
Oh no. Okay.
Nini, we know that you remarked darkness is a fear of yours.
Yeah.
We're not quite dark enough for that to be the case because there are enough houses with lights burning and there is moonlight. But otherwise, I can't just, as soon as the sun goes down, if I impose a fear on you, it's like, well, any nighttime adventure pretty much screws Nini.
It's like complete,
like when it gets very dark,
really,
like when, like right now there's house lights
when I
and
can't
people walking
see
with
and stuff.
candles.
Yeah.
And you're doing all of this, and the rabbit, and no sooner have the words come out of Gliss's mouth that rabbits won't, Silvio has to be worried and Ignior doesn't, then a half dozen rabbits start climbing all over the top of you, and they're gnawing at you with their teeth. They're chipping just like tiny little flecks of stone off of you, and they're not leaving.
Oh, Gliss, where are they coming from? Make it stop.
I am going to what I'd like to do. I have I have Fear Begone, which maybe I could use to help Ignor kind of overcome his fear and continue moving so he can get away from these rabbits. So we can move on. Otherwise, he's just going to be huddled in fetal position. So I'm going to try to help him.
Tell us what the talent does.
So I tell a calming story to remove the effects of a character's fear until the end of the scene. So I will do that.
Okay, so what story do you tell? And for the record, there are talents where sometimes there's like advantage or disadvantage. They affect traits, but generally speaking, if the talent says you do this, then you just do it. There's no trait check, but there's oftentimes like some role-playing thing or some kind of character-specific thing that happens as part of it. So let's hear the calming story for
If I
poor
might,
Ignior.
if it's all right, I would like to ASMR. I would like to rustle my leaves in a calming way, just as both the song and the story happens. Like I don't say anything. I just want to, I just rustle my leaves and my branches to give a nice calming ASMR background.
I like that the idea of the
I
like
love it.
you have a different leaf like harmony or not harmony, but like what do you call it? Well, sound going for my song and then a different one going for the calming one, like two different branches.
You've got different settings.
Yeah,
with the
there you go.
leaves.
Yeah, you should make an app for that.
So everybody gets the spine tinglies, and Liz tells a story.
Rhythm, that's what I was going for, not harmony.
Yeah, there you go.
There once was the story of a strong stone man. He was so tall, taller than all of the little creatures in the world, and he stood tall above everything. He walked the earth. He walked above all of the small creatures in the world. He overcame them. He stepped on them.
Grimdark. Grimdark, whimsical. Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in.
This is very cute, but sometimes he talks about stepping on people. It's cool.
They're not
Stepped on the
all
rabbits.
Hemingway. Yeah, they can't all be Hemingway.
Yeah, so
Um,
the story starts very pleasant and calming, and then she takes it to a complete 180, and it talks about like stepping on the creatures and overcoming your fear.
And if this is comforting to you, Ignior, then you're still wary and worried about the rabbits, but you're not suffering so greatly. There's no disadvantage being applied to you, and you might be more inclined to unboulder yourself, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what he does. It's like, you know what? I think you're right. And I stand up and like rabbits fly off me and I shake and more rabbits fly in different directions. I'm like, I am bigger than them.
There you go.
Can I have caught one of the
Boom.
rabbits
And
like
I
on
put
my head?
hands on one of them. I
You
step
could
on one of them.
try. Anybody
Okay.
who
Oh,
wanted,
yeah.
if you wanted to try that, I mean, these rabbits are
When
like
he
out of their
shakes
mind.
and one of them comes flinging, if like one happens to come my way, I would like to just like catch it.
You could give me a body check. Target number. It's just a slow moving rabbit that's going through the air. So target number 4.
Okay, target number.
The rabbit didn't get. It's not a fastball rabbit.
So it's my body. My body's a 3. Are there any advantages or disadvantages I should add or remove?
Nothing specific unless you
Okay.
can imagine something up. You don't have any fears affecting you.
Nope. Fine by
So,
me.
Target number 3 or target number 4.
I got 2 successes, which means I have to take another shadow.
Mark shadow because that's what the game is about. In part.
Getting up there.
Yeah. I have
I'd
4
like to-
now.
I'd like to turn to the rabbit that is being held by my love, Ninny, and I want to just turn to it just slowly with that little creaky sound, and I want to go, Cottontail, it is good to see you again. Tell me, please, what is distressing all of you? You come running and screaming. From what are you running? Tell me, please, what ails you? And I would like to spend a spirit. I have the ability Nature Sense. I can determine what ails the land, plants, animals, and creatures. Because as you said, they are coming from the forest. I must know them. I'm sure I've seen them, and they're running about in the forest quite often. And so I would like to ask. I'm going to spend a spirit, and I would like to ask my good friend Cottontail, what is going on with you all?
You have a brief moment of conversation with Cottontail, and they say to you, the forest grew. It grew on a long ago. The story is the forest grew where a battle was fought, the void in the battle, and many died there. The forest grew strong because of the battle and the blood in the soil, and now all the ghosts are coming. All the things in the forest are coming here, and Cottontail bolts. Just struggles as quickly as hard as possible to get out of your hands, and if you hold it tight, it starts screaming again.
No, I don't hold it. If it wants to go, it goes. I do have animal speech, so I could understand everything that Silvio that it said.
Right, and you could have had a longer conversation.
Yeah, but it was scared, so I let it go. Yeah, I'm not going to keep it against its will. I just kind of look horrified at Silvio. This does not reassure me that the night is not scary.
And we both communicate with animals. We have this in common. So like I know that you heard what it said.
Yeah, totally. You know that.
And I know that you are also freaking out right now. And I just sort of place a branch right on your shoulder, and sort of like rustle. Like I just sort of like, it's like I've got you may not know this, but as a woodkin, one of the things that is my special ability, it's not on the sheet, but it is that I also am like a back scratcher. I'm like a really good back scratcher. And so like I just go and like scratch your little furry back to sort of help calm you down, because I know that makes you feel better.
Yeah, I feel better a little bit. And then a bunch of more rabbits come flying forward.
The ghosts are coming.
As the group of you kind of compose yourselves, the parents of the children, the three children here were 2 brownies and a red cap. Their parents come running for them, and they scoop them up and say, "Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for keeping an eye on our children. We must find a safe place. We must go. But thank you so much." They each sort of, if you've ever seen athletes, with other people too sometimes, but athletes have their good luck charms of like touching a plaque or a photo or something. But as they leave the locker room, like you've recently. Silvio has become like the good luck charm of the town when they reach up and they just kind of touch you on the torso, on the trunk, and just and thank you, and touch, and each one of them touches you, and they scoop up their children and they start making their way away. And just as that happens, you hear a scream from an alley, and then a second, and looking over, you see in the darkness a flurry of activity. It's difficult to make out the specifics, but there is a struggle. Someone or something is struggling with someone or something else that you can barely make out in the shadows in this alleyway. But someone is yelling, "Help! Help!
Oh.
They're going to take him!"
I look to my friends, and I'm because it's too scary over there.
Gliss,
No one's taking anyone.
Gliss, because she's very small and fast, I feel like she's kind of can act as a scout at times. So she kind of flutters ahead to check out what's going on, and then maybe report back to everybody of what she sees. And she's also very curious. So
you rush off and flitter away. Silvio, because you were planted, you sort of have to take a moment to tear your feet from the soil. And everybody, the other 3 of you, kind of get yourselves squared away and composed, and ready to go with Silvio.
I hide behind Silvio, and I peek out with so you just see my horns and my eyes watching Gliss.
And Gliss, you find yourself when you get to the halfway point from where your friends are to where this struggle is taking place, you suddenly just a tinge in a moment where you realize you're alone right now. And one of your fears is isolation. But then as you get closer to the alleyway, you see a couple, a pair. They look, you know them to be a married pair of fawns who live in the town. And there are the one of them is grasped by 3 ghostly figures of a number of different type of folk, and they're pulling at this fellow, and there's a 4th ghost that is holding the wife at bay, and she's yelling, "They're going to take him away."
oh no, oh. And she'll immediately fly back to her friends after seeing that very quickly, frantically. Oh, there's ghosts. They're taking away.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm okay. They're gonna be they're taking those fawns away. We have to help them.
Leave it to me. And I like stomp over there, like carefully avoiding rabbits and not looking at them.
And
Yeah.
I will follow.
Yeah.
I'm like Ignior goes first, but because I've had to sort of detach my roots from the. I imagine there's like a circle, like with a patch of earth that's right in the middle of the town, and I sort of detach and I start moving, following Ignior and making sure that anybody who wants to sort of sit in my branches as we move may do so.
I will follow Silvio as. So it's like a little dream. I'm just like peeking out from one side and then peeking out the other side and then hiding.
You get to the alleyway and you see what was described, and here they Gliss, you see that clearly they have separated, like the ghosts that are trying to take away Quellen, the husband, is they're succeeding, and he's struggling with all of his might. He's not specifically screaming. He seems almost petrified with fright, but he's trying his darndest to not get pulled away by these ghosts. And you see that as he struggles, like he's reaching, like they're holding him with their ghostly arms, and he's trying to punch them and push them, but then his hand is going through them, and so he can't fight. I mean, most of the fight that he's putting up is just that he's difficult to hold on to, and he's digging his heels and digging his hooves in, as it were. So he's having a very hard time just actually affecting the ghosts directly himself.
Oh no.
Okay, so Ignuor goes first, and it's like, careful, Gless. And I stride forward, and the fawn getting grabbed by ghosts, I'm like, hold on to me. And I grab him by the shoulders and try and, at the very least, keep him in one place, as I don't know how to deal with ghosts. So I'm just going to stop him from being stolen.
So you go up and just root him. Well, that's a Silvio thing, but you've learned, right, to root someone in place, just to keep him from getting moved. Give me a body check to resist their moving him. It's going to be, given your size, we'll call it a target number 4.
Okay.
And if he's successful in holding the person, I have something I would like to do.
I get 2.
Whoa!
Yes.
That's
So
an
that's a
all or
shadow.
nothing roll.
Mark a shadow.
Mark a shadow.
No.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That's
Don't
funny.
worry.
You'll
2 ones
all be
and
fine.
2 6s. How likely
dear.
is that? It's
Nobody's
a very
nobody's-
Josh roll.
Nobody's gonna. There you go. Nobody's gonna fill up on shadow today. Nobody at all.
No.
I'm scared.
But you managed to keep him from being pulled by the ghosts, and this actually works out very well because in the game, since I don't have a turn, I just react and insert complications and so forth. The initiative is basically because you're all wonderful and friendly and you help each other. Josh, who goes next?
Oh.
I will mention that Maggie said, like, if you were successful, she had something she
Yep,
wanted to
that's
do.
a good
And so
point. Yeah.
we'll pass it around like that until everybody's had a turn, and then the last person who goes gets to choose who would.
But if someone else really wanted to do something, you're welcome to.
It sounded like you had an idea.
I
so
had an
Leon
idea.
Maybe goes next.
So, which, I feel like Craig is going to like. I would like to use one of my corruptions.
Oh, you would like to call upon the void.
I'd like to
power
call upon
directly from the void.
I think
All right.
Nini is so, like, she's scared, but at the same time, these are her friends. These are her fawn peoples. And she knows Quellen and his wife very well. They're good, kind fawns in our town. And they always help people, and they bring good harvest food for everybody before the winter fell comes. And I would like to use my hypnotic song to plant a subliminal suggestion to these ghosts, if possible.
Okay, and what do you specifically have to do in order to use that?
I have to mark one shadow.
All the corruptions require you to at least mark one shadow. The more powerful corruptions sometimes ask you to mark one permanent shadow, which means you fill that checkbox in and you never uncheck it, no matter how many times you fill up the shadow track and erase. So it spirals you even faster. So you mark a shadow, and are you able to affect multiple?
It doesn't
How
say.
does
It
it?
just
How,
says
how is it
plant a
described?
to one creature.
Okay.
So I'm specifically going to go for the one that is was holding my friend, and then Ignir kind of like pulled them away, right? That's not holding onto them anymore.
Well, Quellen was being grasped by 3 ghosts.
Oh.
But I will do this. How about if you wish to spend a spirit, you can affect all 3 of the ghosts.
Could I ask a mechanical question?
Sure.
So I have a talent, Leaf and Needle, that I gain advantage on heart checks based on the type of tree I resemble, and I'm a deciduous tree, and so I get this advantage when I'm bolstering or helping others. So I suppose that implies there may be a way for me to bolster or help my dearest Ninny in this moment.
Oh.
So you're going to well, you've been accompanying people with performances already, so you could accompany again with your rhythm, the rhythms of your leaves and your movements.
So she's doing a hypnotic
branches.
thing that I feel like I should be able to perhaps use my leaf and needle to help bolster her hypnotic dance with like the sort of like the because I also have got some percussion going on. I'm a like a wood drum. I think that would be
Sure.
useful just to help her because I know that she wants to get multiple ghosts and it might be helpful.
We'll say that along with your help, you are able to then also hypnotize the 4th ghost that was accosting Quellen's wife, Thela. So your song, and this is a corruption that there's no check involved; it just happens, correct?
I believe so. It is a corruption.
Right, but it doesn't call for a check or
No, it just says
talk about advantage.
It says mark one shadow, plant a subliminal suggestion, or modify one memory in one creature. And I will spend the spirit to affect the other 2 that are holding on to my friend.
Okay.
You get the 4th one too.
And you get the 4th one as part of this because of Silvio's help. And you, I'd like to hear the song. And then when you wrap that, tell us what the suggestion is. What do you want them to do?
Okay. She kind of like peeks out from Silvio and gets a moment of like courage and just pushes her front 2 hooves out and like puts her chest out and moves forward with her eyes closed, looking towards them, and kind of like sways back and forth and just says, "Let go of my friends. Let go of my friends and tell us why you are here." It's kind of like she just keeps repeating that. And she's nervous.
Sorry.
She's
That's
scared.
Fine. That's understandable.
Yeah, she's very scared, and it's dark.
The ghosts become hypnotized by you. They stop struggling with Quellen and Thela. They start to sway in rhythm, kind of matching your swaying.
Now there's like ghosts. All the little ghost wobbles.
And the one of the ghosts looks. Oh, jeez.
I have a thing for this. Josh knows what this is from.
One of the
mostly
ghosts.
they're in bottles.
Yeah, they're not in bottles this time.
One of the ghosts, continuing to sway, floats, like lets go of Quellen, floats right up to your face, right in your face, and you realize why in just a moment when it speaks to you and it whispers. It has no voice, no real voice, and it whispers to you. You asked, what was the question?
Let go of my friends and tell us why you're here.
We can't leave. He won't let us. And then it kind of floats back away from you and continues to sway. As long as you continue swaying, they continue.
Okay, I continue
matching your
swaying, and I'll be like,
matching your motion.
"Who is this he that you speak of?" I have to roll another thing to ask that, or do I have to roll a charm or something? How does this work now?
This is going to kind of, we're going to turn this into a conversation now. So it's going to be a charm check.
Okay. -1 because I'm in darkness now. This alleyway's dark.
I'm going to
right?
say that, yeah, this is dark enough that you're dealing with your fear of being in a very black and dark place, very shadowy place.
Okay. And
Target
then-
number 6.
Oh boy. And so I normally would have a 4 charm, and now I have a 3. Plus, I do have a silver tongue, which on charm checks gives me advantage, so that puts me back up to 4, correct?
Correct.
And then nothing else. I will roll. 2 6s. That means I have another
Oh
shadow.
wow.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Mark
Shadow
shadow, but
real
you are
fast.
successful. You asked who won't let you leave. One of the other ghosts comes right up in your face, turns around to the side of your head and whispers in your ear, Drumble. Drumble won't let us go. To be clear, Drumble. Drumble. Drumble.
My ear does that thing, you know, when like animals.
You are the only
like-
one who hears this.
Yeah, when animals like when something like hits their ear, it kind of flicks like that. Like her one ear just starts flicking.
And the really disconcerting thing about this is that the ghost says this right up in your ear, and you've had people whisper things into your ear. Silvio does it regularly, and there's always air, there's motion, there's wind, there's often the warm breath of the person involved. And this ghost comes right up to your ear and whispers in your ear, and there's nothing. It is not cold. It is not warm. There is no breeze, no breath. You just hear the sounds.
Who is Drumble? Do I know who that name? Is it like Voldemort? Do I not say that name? Is it the person who I should never speak of?
You could now that was spoken very quietly. Only you heard it. And if you want to try to, you could make a mind check to see if you know who this is. If you wanted to share it with everybody, there are rules for like the group can help you. Like you could confer and try to remember, like, does that name mean anything? And somebody says, oh, I think maybe it's this. And everybody kind of, pieces it together.
Who's our person who has the highest mind? I feel like we know each other, right? Like, so out of character.
Who's the smarty?
I have 2. I'm not very smart.
2 also.
2.
Okay, so
Okay, and that's okay, and that's what the
I
rules
think
for helping others are.
that I would turn to maybe Gliss, because I feel like Gliss always has the answers to things. She flies around. She knows everybody. So I kind of like turn to her and say quietly, "Do you know who Drumble is?"
Trumbull. Have I heard that name?
And I'm gonna leave it to Gliss to roll instead of me.
I'll do the roll. Okay.
Well, and here's the thing: like if you're conferring with people, one of the people, the way to help, is you can spend normally how you can spend a
Spirit.
Sorry, yeah. Jeez,
Gotcha.
brain freeze. Spend a spirit to give yourself an extra die. Like if somebody's helping you with something, they can spend a spirit and you get the extra die out of it. So
I will spend a spirit to give Gliss an extra die.
you're very long lived, so
I am very long lived.
you may know you've heard of a great many people.
I have, and what I will do is I will start as she's thinking, right? Because I'm sure Gliss has got to sort of ponder it. I will just say, Drumble. There was a redkin named Frumble in the year of my second rind, and I'll just sort of like start going through all the names I can think of that would be sort of associated, like in which one of my rings that person or that being was around for, and just like it's sort of like a bit of a and I think it comes in that kind of with the sound of the rustling leaves. My voice comes through that rustling sound in a way that is giving you information, but it's also reassuring. Like basically there's a lot of just like, I've got good vibes for people is what I do, right? Like I vibe people well. So it may not be as much even the information that I'm giving you, although I'm sort of giving you sort of like the name when you end with umble seems to come from these lands, right? Like just like giving you kind of like information where you can maybe put it together yourself. As I try to do this in that kind of rustly way to sort of help, I'm ASMRing you. This is what I do. ASMRing you.
Okay, so I have 2 minds. So with that, do I get 3?
You'll have 3 for the check. It's a target number 5.
Okay. Let's see. I got 1 success.
Yes. All right. That gives Mark a spirit.
Yay.
And
Cool.
you know the name Drumble because Ignior mentioned it to you once long ago in a story he was telling you. Drumble is a stonekin who lived during the time of the previous coming of the void. And there was a stonekin community that fell to the void. That is to say, they fell in league with the void. Nobody knows exactly why all of that happened, but a great number of them did. And they found others who wished to join them. And so there was this whole group of a number of folk of different types that banded together in service to the void. And they basically marched across Reverie as a small army, but an army, and they were responsible for the deaths of a great many folk. And Drumble was the captain who led them. This fallen, cursed stonekin from 220 years ago.
Oh, Drumble. I've heard that name before. Not a good name. Not a good person. Stonekin. He was here many years ago. When the void was here many years ago. He led a group who associated themselves with the void. It's been years since that name has come up. This must not be good.
What do you know of the Stonekin Drumble?
I believe he was big.
Bigger than you or I?
Maybe not as big as you, but definitely bigger than me.
Bigger's scary.
But
bigger is better.
Not always.
Ignior, does this Drumble have someone that they love, or friends, or ties to their heart? What do the stories say?
If they fell to the void, then I doubt that they love much anymore. But if all those horrible rabbits are coming from the forest, then I suppose there must be something worse than them in there. Maybe he at the very least has a home.
very wise. Stones know much. We should
Yes.
investigate.
We should. If Drumble is causing these ghosts to be here, then we need to at least stop him or talk to him at least.
Oh,
Perhaps
if
he
this
can
means
do
we have
so.
to go into the darkness, I don't want to talk to him.
Ninny. The
Also, I don't know how much longer I can keep this going.
The forest has fireflies. It is not as dark as you think. In
True.
The forest.
Plus, you have us. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Quellen and Thela sort of
She's-
slink away as all of this is happening, so they are safe.
I make a nervous smile at what you say, Gliss.
Well, those two are safe now. What
Yeah.
will happen when the ghosts stop swaying to your song?
I haven't thought that far.
Let's find out. Are they made of stone? Are
Hey, stop.
these ghosts made of stone by any chance?
No, none of them are stone kin specifically. There's a fawn, a woodkin, and two. You would assume. Well, yeah, you've met a human at some point, so 2 humans.
Then I have no idea how a stonekin is doing anything to do with ghosts. They're not even made of rock. Baffling. We'll never find out. That's a shame.
Ignior, you should lead us into the forest.
Feel like that's your thing, but okay.
I believe in you, Ignior.
Thank you, friend. Right, everyone behind me.
As you
I
head,
stop and I follow Ignir. I run actually very quickly behind Ignir when he says follow him after I stop my song.
I
the
bring
ghosts,
up the rear so that
Sorry.
no one can jump us from behind. Just-
Mm-hmm. Silvio getting the booty again.
The ghosts dissipate. They leave when you head out. They no longer have someone they're trying to abduct, and you kind of bested them. They flitter away. The group of you heads on toward the forest. Silvio, what's the name of the forest?
The forest is called the Sunwoods because it was once, at one point in time, full of a lot of these trees that are unique to Reverie, which are they're sort of like willows, but all of their leaves are this sort of golden yellow, and at dawn and dusk they sort of glow, no matter what season, because they always sort of, they're evergreens, but they're really sort of everglows, or they're these sort of beautiful yellow leaves that right at dawn and dusk have a sort of a sparkling, glittery moment of sort of they emerge, they emit light in those moments between dawn and dusk, and it's called the Sun Forest. But I suppose that since the void has come, the Sun Forest's leaves have gotten dimmer and dimmer. And less gilt. They sort of look like, they almost look like they're sort of gilded in gold, the leaves, but I imagine now they're sort of burnished and less brilliant.
Since the void arrived, they've dulled, certainly. They're not quite so golden. They're sort of a drab yellow. And Tracy, what is unique about the animals of the Sunwood?
I would say all of the animals, let me think. I feel like all of them kind of have, because normally the sun is kind of glistening into this wood. They all have a very shimmery coat. All of their coats are very vibrant, and maybe even golden hues of gold and yellow. Again, maybe not as much because of the changes due to the void, but that's what they're normally known for, and they have just a very shimmery fur coats.
And you noticed in the rabbits earlier that their coats were dulled. It's difficult to make that out in the darkness or the near darkness in the dusk time, but they were certainly not as iridescent as they are often. The group of you makes your way to the Sunwood, and as the Sunwood, the edge of the forest is right near the village. The village is built right on the edge of the forest. As you enter, you see that indeed you can barely even make out the golden color, the yellow color of the leaves. It's so dull in the moonlight that you would swear they were gray. That there is no color left in the leaves. Silvio, as you're walking through the group, the other three of you look and you see that Silvio, his leaves are dulling just before your eyes. You see that the bright green leaves are now a pale olive drab. And those of you looking to Maggie see that her fur looks gray and matted, and there's no sheen to it whatsoever, no iridescence. Ignior, you still look like rock.
Not much has changed.
and Gliss, your hair is without shimmer and color. The color just drains from your hair till it's the palest, barely the color it was before. It's just almost gone white. You enter the forest. It is dark. It is cold.
Do my footprints not leave color behind?
Do you try to leave color
Yeah.
behind? You try to leave purple behind, and it is pale, just barely purple, but it's still there. And the forest is completely quiet. There's no wind, no sound. And then you hear...
As we move, I just I make sure that my branches brush against the other trees. It's like a sort of a way of comforting and you know, because it's like it's not a good vibe, right? So like it's just a little bit of trying to, it's like, you know, trying to give the comfort. I have a heart of 4, right? So just trying to give comfort to the trees as we move into the forest by just brushing my leaves along them.
Like that. Great.
Yeah.
Silvio just walks by and sort of brushes across different trees as he walks. And you feel they are dry, and the bark is almost bark normally has a roughness to it. The bark is like it's worn with weather and age, like it's dying and old, and it's almost smooth to the touch. Making your way further into the forest, and you hear the sound of a whimpering dog, a sad puppy, just whimpering.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. Sounds not far away.
It sounds like it might be scary. I like
Or
hide
just scared.
behind Ignior.
Let's go find it then.
Or we could just not.
Maybe
If it's in trouble, it needs our help.
You're right. She holds her breath and follows.
Bliss once again kind of scouting around. She always is just she's like, while everybody is probably normally walking kind of in a succession together, she's just always kind of sporadically around everybody, flying in between everybody, and then
I
she'll
love
fly
it.
ahead a bit, then fly backward.
Does she ever
she
like
kinda
sit
flies
in one of
ahead.
my flowers?
She probably would actually, and then
Aw,
sometimes
like when she wants
on
to rest.
Silvio's tree, yeah, on his arm, and yeah, she'll even on Ignore, she'll like kind of right on his head. She'll plop herself there sometimes.
Adorable.
Yeah, exactly. So she kind of flies ahead again and just kind of checks things out, as she is very curious as always.
You start homing in on the sound of the dog, and it's difficult at first. The sound seems to almost be coming from everywhere. The sound doesn't carry properly in here. You notice this with your own footsteps too. You're stepping on dried leaves and twigs, and it sounds like those dried leaves and twigs, the sound of crunching them is coming from everywhere. It's not just coming from beneath you. So the sound of the dog at first seems to be everywhere. And as you walk, you start to slowly pinpoint a direction, and you start to find your way, making your way through a number of trees, and over a small rise, you come upon a little dog, like a terrier-sized dog, with matted fur. It's dirty, it is shivering, it is cold, it is whimpering. But it is alive in the midst of this wood, and it is terrified.
Gliss will immediately fly up to this little creature. Hey, little guy, are you all right? And she'll try to just like comfort it, maybe pet it, if possible, if he allows it.
Um,
Uh-oh.
Vague.
I like that.
we'll
That's
have
a
you.
GM face. I know
Yeah,
that.
that
That's
was-
How am I gonna mess with them with a puppy?
We
I
all
know,
are. We all have
exactly.
GM'd, so we all know the face.
Yeah.
We're all like,
Oh,
That's the
no.
GM face right there.
Well,
Danger.
let's have you put forth your best, friendliest demeanor, and that feels like a heart check, like to kind of show your true self, right?
Mhm.
What's within you, your heart, your and you let's make a have you make a heart check.
Okay.
Target number 5.
Good. I have heart 4. So let's
You are
see.
heart filled.
Yes,
Ooh.
I have 1 5.
Mark a spirit.
dude, Gliss is doing so
I'm getting-
like Gliss
You
is
guys are all
like.
getting shadow, and I'm getting the spirit. This
All the
is great.
spirit,
good.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I wish Gliss was my love now. You want to trade these? I have a thing like I could get a talent. I obviously have to level up, but if no, the cool thing about Fawns is like you can trade spirit with each other, which is interesting.
Cool.
It's cool, yeah.
Polyamorous relationships are perfectly valid in Reverie as well.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You want to be our
live
our
I
third?
live a long time, you know.
Yeah.
You know you.
Hey, you know
Sylvia's
what?
had many loves.
Yeah, that's true.
And with that check, you get the dog to calm itself, and it stands up on its little legs, and it can sort of tentatively and very slowly walks over to you, and you've got your hand out, and it allows you to pet it, and its fur is very dry, and there's dirt and moss matted in there. And the dog stops whimpering, and it doesn't bark playfully or anything like that, but it does that sort of contented huff that dogs can do, where it's not shaking, it's not whimpering anymore. And then, just a bit back in the depths of its tiny little dog throat, it starts to growl.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
That low little growl, and it slowly builds in volume.
Silvio, can you come help Ninny? Because I know you guys can talk to animals, and so I kind of like creep
I
back a
do
little
like
bit.
the deer walk, you know, like when deers are creeping. That's what I'm doing. Like Nini's getting closer, but like a little creeped out. A little nervous.
I'll kind of like slowly back up as it's growling.
And I guess I'll try to calm it down.
Okay.
Chat with it, say hi.
How would you like to do that?
I would like to sing a calming song.
A little puppy song, a little.
A little puppy song.
Okay. You can do that and instill an emotion.
Ooh, okay. All right. So are we in darkness now?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, this is dealing with a dog. So not so much your talent for doing such with humans who can understand the words and so forth. This is like more about your demeanor. But it is performance, so it's charm based, but at disadvantage because you are in a very dark place,
Okay.
shadowy place.
Cool.
Target number 4. Given that the dog has already been befriended, so the target number is only 4.
This dog is gonna bite us. Okay.
I'm gonna ASMR you. It's okay.
Ooh, 1 success.
Target number 4.
Oh,
That's
4,
2
2
successes.
successes. Oh no.
Shadow for you.
Oh no. It's
Of
not
course.
going well for
Of
me.
course.
I am 3 away from filling up my
Oh,
shadow
you're
bar.
like, maybe Josh will fill up, and you're like, no, that's not.
You know,
Actually, Minnie.
Josh and I are usually in cahoots, so
Yeah. Well,
The shadow.
maybe we'll do it at the same time. No, just kidding.
Mark a shadow, and the dog. What does the since you're not really singing a song that the
No,
dog can understand,
I'm like
so
more humming.
it's just a humming.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like. It's like trying to calm it.
And the dog stops growling, looks up at you with great big wet puppy dog eyes, pleading, a little afraid, and it turns and looks further into the forest, the direction you were heading, as the forest fills with the forms of ghostly folk, all manner of folk that live in Reverie. These ghosts come pouring through the forest as fast as any of you can walk or run. Every type of folk you can see, every men, women, children. Some are soldiers, some look like homemakers, some look like workers, some look like politicians and artisans. And this wave of ghostly forms comes washing up over the top of you. What do all of you do? I mean, it's a wall of ghosts that are pouring at you from the forest.
Oh goodness.
Does anyone have anything they can do to?
I or think
I have a way to do expert performance where I can like perform for them to maybe.
Can I? Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna try to give us wings, or at least some of us. So I'm gonna do flight or height.
Can she
Which-
spend spirit to give it to more people?
Yes. Well, so I guess this is up to our lovely GM, but I can spend 1 spirit to make somebody the same size as me. Maybe I could spend multiple spirits to make several of us, or sorry, that I can make multiple of us have wings.
So did you, when you created your character, were you able to, did you, because you can do one or the other, you had to choose.
Oh yes, sorry. I meant I chose wings actually.
So
not
you can
size.
give wings.
Okay.
So you can spend a spirit to give somebody wings.
Okay.
You can spend another, what does it say for spending more spirit?
So it says spend 1 spirit to make a friend have wings also. Could I spend multiple spirit to give multiple people wings?
You could.
Okay.
Yay! We're all gonna have wings. Can you imagine a goat with wings?
Good thing I got all
Imagine
that
a
spirit,
rock with
so
wings.
I could.
Rock with wings.
I'm not sure.
A tree with wings. Oh, does the tree branches turn into like tree branch wings?
You know, I've
That
never
would be
done
cool.
this before, so we're gonna. This is Gliss's first time trying to give like maybe like bigger, heavier creatures wings, but she's gonna try it.
So you flutter up in front of your friends, and you're closer to the wall of spirits that are right on top of you as you go to enact your pixie magic to give wings, and you reach to Ninny to tap her and give her wings as the ghosts fall right on top of you, and Gliss falls to the ground, motionless. And then Ninny falls to the ground, motionless.
Oh God.
Ignior and Silvio, you fall to the ground, and
No.
darkness. You see nothing, you feel nothing, you hear nothing. It is all darkness.
Can I pee?
And all of you
I'm scared.
awaken in a graveyard. The moon is not where it once was. It's not covered in clouds, but it's a full moon hovering above you. The graveyard is filled with a light film of fog up to about a foot. Gravestones, statues, small mausoleums adorn the ground as far as you can see into this darkness, the foggy darkness. And you look to each other, and you are all dead, and you are all ghosts. And maybe we want to take a little break right now.
Okay.
Oh no!
Was that metaphorical dead? Do you mean metaphorically we're dead? Just like dead on the inside? Because it's been a long day? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean dead? Ah!
You know,
no.
it's fine. We're just ghosts. It'll be fine. All right, we'll be right back after a short break, around roughly 8 minutes. Enjoy some fan art whilst we do so, and I hope there's some fan art of all of this. These are so lovely. I love all your characters.
I know. I
I
love it.
love it so much, and thank you, Craig, for the amazing game. We have a sponsor link in the chat if you're interested in checking out the game yourself. It's called Good Strong Hands. It is still being kickstarted, so you can help push forward. There's a lot of extra goals that Craig has added over there, so you can get some cool rewards yourself too for helping support that, and also supports us if you enjoy our lovely role playing that we do here on Roll For It. If nothing else, go check out the art because it's awesome. All right, we'll see you after the break.
See you in a bit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second part of part 2 of our one shot of Good Strong Hands. I am loving this setting so much. So thank you, Craig, for creating this lovely game. Of course, you can check it out if you do exclamation point sponsor in our chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, the link will be down in the description. You can go check out the Kickstarter. There's a lot of cool rewards that you can get your hands on. You see what I did there? Or
Good, strong hands.
you can just check out the lovely art and what's going on over there. It's really good stuff. I'm excited. And I've been having a really, really fun time playing. So thank you.
How long do we have for the Kickstarter? How much time do we have left?
It will run until Thursday, October 22nd.
Okay.
Happy
But-
birthday, me. And happy
Oh,
There you go.
Yay!
So if you
Nice.
would like Josh to have a happy birthday, back my Kickstarter.
Yes.
I'll tell you
Yes.
what, if the Kickstarter does really well, I'll make sure to wish Josh a happy birthday, and I'll call for
Oh.
other people to do it as well.
That would be
And we'll
Aw.
inundate him on social
Mhm.
media with
that
happy
would be
birthday
a
wishes.
great birthday present for your Kickstarter to do amazingly.
I
Josh is
appreciate
like,
that.
yes, give me your followers. But we've been having a really good time, and we're all dead now, so that's great.
And
Hmm.
ghosts.
Yes,
I
you
prefer to think of it
are.
as metaphorical. That's it. Like I just feel like it's yeah. Mhm.
Does that mean you're like Deadwood?
Tired.
Yes, I'm Deadwood.
You're Deadwood?
This is what I am.
Yeah. Or, never mind, I'm not going to go there.
Driftwood.
Mm,
I was going to say Limpwood, but you know.
Oh,
It's a petrified forest. I don't. You know what? I'm just gonna
well, that's for
great.
when you're scared.
Yeah,
Right,
there you go.
All right. So yes, at the end of our little cliffhanger, a wash of ghosts, a group of ghosts, just fell over the our compatriot, our band here, and one at a time, each of them fell to the ground, and they awoke in a graveyard to discover that they are in fact ghosts in a shadow-filled, darkened realm. Each of you don't hear the wind move. You don't hear creatures in the brush. You don't hear your own heartbeat. You don't hear the breath leaving your mouth. And you are dead.
well, at least there are no rabbits.
No, this isn't okay. I'm not ready to die. I have so much to live for still. This
It's
is
a
not
bit late
okay.
for that.
No.
I'm sure you'll do great as a ghost. Don't you like flitting through walls and things?
Is this a
Yes.
dream?
Well,
So
just
This is a
have
dream, right? Totally.
to. It's maybe.
I'm going to try to like touch something with my
I'm
hood.
gonna try to poke you to wake you up.
We're trying to like.
You are all able to touch each other fine. The ground is solid to you. There are gravestones and trees here. You are able to touch them just fine. A quick note, if any of you over the course of the game so far, we kind of scratched past this because it's a one shot and I don't want to bog the viewers down too much, but you all have anchors that are like character anchors, things about your character that are kind of consistent, personality traits and the like. So if you utilized one of those anchors, if you acted in accordance with one of those anchors during this previous portion of the game, gain another spirit as you bolster yourself to deal with this new reality that you find yourself in.
I will gain one spirit for charming, as I've done a lot of charming.
You are charming.
I will gain a spirit for being calm. I am calm.
For now.
For now.
I will gain one for being adventurous.
Mhm.
You certainly have been.
Yes.
I don't think I've been gentle so far, but in this particular moment, I would say I'm lighthearted.
Taking this taking
That's
this in
true.
stride a bit.
You did look at the positive side of
Yeah.
being
I
and
don't
you
think
find
I've ever
yours-
been alive anyway, so it's fine.
Since I got a spirit, but I'd like to spend it and living on the edge of my spirit pool, I would like to root my roots into this earth, and I would like to concentrate and just sort of feel the earth and use my nature sense to sort of get a sense of what ails the land. Because but I'm also, I know I'm doing this because like what I'm saying that I'm doing it is because I want to know what ails the land, but what I'm really doing it for is because it's like, I dead. I'm gonna just sort of like root into the land and like, because you get a sense of life, right, from trees. Treekin, you get life from being rooted. We don't like being unrooted.
Talk to
for
the
too
other
long.
trees.
Yeah, like just like we don't. Woodkin in our universe, when they sleep, they always like sleep in a place where they can be rooted in it. It's not good for them to spend too much time like on cobblestones and not rooted back into the earth. It's like part of.
It's like a healing, like it's your version of sleep, right?
It's like our version of
rest.
sleep.
Yeah.
It's like our photosynthesis, you know? And
Love that.
and so I'm going to root in to sort of see what ails the land with my nature sense, but also as a way for me to sort of reground myself in the earth. To also as like a check, can I reground myself in the earth? How am I doing? I'm feeling a little, incorporeal right now.
You root yourself in the dry soil of this place and get the sense that everything here is dead. Everything here, what you see and feel here does not exist in Reverie. In fact, you are very much certain you are not in Reverie anymore.
Does the earth taste different?
There is no taste. There
Oh.
is you know it's there. You have a sense of it being there. But you've heard other folk describe drinking water as water is sort of to them it seems like water has a taste to you. You know water has a wonderful taste to you, but to some other folk, water it's used as like the thing that has no taste is water. Like everything else has a flavor relative to water, which has no taste. This earth tastes to you like you imagine water tastes to many other folk who are not plant-like.
Follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean there's no magic in this earth?
You feel that the magic that is there is difficult to draw upon. It is there, but it is blocked. It is veiled. It is clouded in some way. It is less than in Reverie. Reverie is filled with
place of
magical
magic,
things.
and you can feel it.
Yes. You feel like when you sense for the magic of the earth, you feel that like what you are feeling of magic is the magic of Reverie, some small portion of it that's draining over into this place. You get the distinct impression that you've talked in your many years with many different folk, and some have beliefs regarding what happens to you after you die, and some believe that you go to another place. And some believe that there are multiple other places that you might move on to. And you have the feeling that this is one of those other places.
Can I nuzzle the tombstones that are there for us and see if I can read what mine says?
You
with my nose and clean it off.
You clean off the tombstone nearest you. And it has your name on it.
Nini's eyes widen. What does it say? Just my name?
Just right now, it says just your name. It's a large enough stone that more could be written on it, but all it says right now is Nini.
Does it have dates on it?
No. Well, it has your birth date. Like it looks like a tombstone this tombstone that is bought for somebody, but before it's completely, before it's completed, it may have the person's name and then like the born date, but then there's no death date and there's no epitaph, no little
I think this
dedication
is
or quote or anything
a
like that.
huge fear for Ninny, is dying and not being like remembered for something. Like, I feel like this is a moment of embarrassment for her, like going into one of her other fears.
I'm gonna go up to Ninny because she's clearly having a hard time with this. I'm gonna be like, Ninny, it's fine. You're not dead yet. There's no death date on there, and it's written on a rock. And I know rocks. You should trust them.
But look at me. I don't think I'm alive anymore. I don't think
We
that
are-
any of us are.
But you're not dead.
But
Maybe we're just temporarily ghosts.
We are not on Reverie. We are somewhere else. This earth.
No, there
is
were
not
other of the
this.
other places.
There is somewhere else we are. This earth is not the earth. It has the wrong taste. It has no taste. It does not
Why
have
are you-
the.
Licking the earth.
Why would you not?
I lick the earth.
It
What do I
has
do?
no it has no taste.
Okay. Yeah, when he says that, when Ignir is like, "Why would you lick the earth?" I'm like mid, like my tongue's on the ground, like.
Yeah, that's smash cut to Ninny
Deer in the headlights.
just
A fawn in
looking
the
up
headlights. Yeah.
with like with her tongue out with like
Yeah.
her cake cut.
Yeah. I mean, Silvio mentioned like the dirt, so I had to taste. I had to know what it tastes like. And then I'm gonna go look at one of my other companion, whoever's the closest tombstone, my other companion's tombstone, to see if theirs has any other information other than their name and their birth date.
You find you look around and you find a tombstone very quickly for Silvio, and a tombstone for Gliss. And as you're walking around behind Ignor, you see that his name and the year of his birth are carved on his back.
Oh, cool. He is his own
Do you
tombstone.
tell him this?
Does it also say kick me? I just want to know.
I think
It can now if you.
I think Minnie
amazing.
has a moment where like now she's no longer embarrassed because like and so it probably makes Ignor feel like he's aided her and like made her feel better, but really it was a more a vain thing. And she's like takes a sigh of relief and then kind of like cocks her head and is looking at Ignor's back but doesn't say anything.
Weird question. Are the dates of our birth in our year date system?
They do
Or are they
use
in someone else's year
they
date?
use your reckoning, the reckoning that Reverie uses, and they are accurate.
Okay.
I don't even have a tombstone. See, we're fine.
Gliss, as is your nature, you have a tendency to flit about and always kind of be looking and moving, and you look, and everybody here is kind of paying attention to what's going on with you and looking at tombstones, and you look and you realize that like the graveyard is sort of the forest, and that if you look over there, there's the town. Now, normally, if you were in the forest, you wouldn't be able to see the town at this point because there would be enough trees in your way. But here, it's a smattering of trees and then small statues and gravestones, and you see the kind of the shape of the buildings of the town of Nocturne, and you see motion in amongst the town itself, and this is feels quite a bit like the activity, the motion that you saw in that alleyway. It's like this kind of flitting of shape and color, or in this case kind of gray tones, so you get the feeling that there are people or ghosts or something that's moving about in the town, but you can see that the town is there.
Hey, I don't normally the town isn't normally that way, is it? It's literally right over there. And you'll see Gliss point in the direction of Nocturne.
I go from like cocking my head and looking at Ignir's back to like turning the other direction and doing the same thing over there.
I'm as I'm gonna rack my mind for the past, and I'm going to think about trying to think where that battle would have been, because I know there was the battle in the Sunwood 200 so years ago with Drumble, and I'm trying to figure out if that battle would have been here, where we are right now, or further away. You know, I have some questions about that, and also thinking about the forest as we know it from our time and place, because like Sylvia's thinking like, have we been transported to the past or the future? Are we actually dead, or are we like shades in another moment? And so I'm thinking about like, is this, if that's the town, where in the forest are we now? Has there ever been a graveyard there, or has there been a graveyard like this somewhere else? Like I'm trying to like place my knowledge of the Sunwoods and maybe that history of that battle, trying to locate us, right? Trying to locate us in geographically, as it were.
All right. Where you are right now, if the graveyard is the forest, or, you know, is in the place of where the forest was, where the town is, about the distance to the town, looks to be about the distance that it would have been that you had walked from the town to the forest, into the forest. The battle that took place within the Sunwood 220 years ago took place throughout the forest in a number of places. There were clashes between different forces in probably 30% of the forest. So there are no specific graveyards like this that are in the forest. You know that when the dead soldiers and people who were caught in the middle of the fighting, they were generally taken home by their people to whatever funerary rites were appropriate for those people. So there was never a mass grave or battle, you know, that sort of thing.
People don't build in our forest. It's rude.
No, it's like it's like coming into your house and just like, okay, I'm going to build a shack in your living room. Why would you build a house in here? This forest is a beautiful home. So you get the distinct feeling that you are like, if these places, for example, if Reverie and this place that you are coplanar, that you are where you should be in that forest, or in this case, it's the graveyard, because in this world, this expanse is not filled with trees. Although there are some, it is mostly filled with markers of the dead.
We are not in the right place.
How can we get to the right place?
Magic, but magic is weak here.
Oh.
What do you mean we're not in the right place?
This is not Reverie. Is that really Nocturne?
It looks like it. I might have seen something there. Shadows, people, maybe. I saw movement.
Maybe they know where we are. And if one of them did kill us and bring us to this place, then I'm going to be very angry.
Or we could just embrace it.
And Nini kind of like prances around and like like dancing a little bit and is like,
At least we're all together.
It's true. I don't like Ignora when he's angry, so we should probably try to find out who put us here or something.
Rumble.
I could sing you a song, Ignior. Maybe that'll make you happier.
I love your songs. But don't worry. I'm fine. We're not really dead.
Okay.
That would be the stage of denial.
yeah.
Ignior is going through the stages of grief of his own death and is currently in denial.
Mm-hmm.
I will
We'll start. Oh, Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
go
will
ahead.
move with following Gliss.
Yeah, she'll start moving.
Because I know that I see what happens. I actually start moving first because I'm a little bit slower. I'm gonna take that step first, and
Oh.
I know that she's gonna go.
Craig's saying
but-
Not so fast. Person
I
who
know.
just rooted himself to the dead earth.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You go to draw your feet out of the earth, and they won't come out.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
You've never experienced this in your life.
Mm.
You're having some problems, Sylvia.
Is this gonna be like that one time where you popped out all of those chestnuts all at once?
No, I cannot move. Ninny.
What do you mean you can't move?
Nini kind of like runs to like around. Do I see anything that looks odd about the way his roots are in the ground?
You look around his kind of like his legs come down. Each of his legs come down like a tree trunk, and they splay out right into kind of the base of a tree, like roots.
Mhm.
And you've seen Silvio root himself in the earth before, and it just kind of his feet dig in, and like if you were to just look at it up close, it would look like just the trunk of a tree hitting the ground. But you see that here as well, there are roots that are in the ground that have come up and are like wrapping over the top of his own toes and feet, and the roots there. And one of them is even kind of snaked up around one leg partway, and it's
I
holding him,
boop
binding him to the earth.
I boop it with my nose, and I'm like,
I think this is what it is. I could try to, like, get it off of you.
and she like runs backwards and then just runs forward and rams it with her like horns
You're ramming Silvio's feet.
to try to like ungrasp him off the ground.
All right. Do you have any just a straight up body check kind of attack essentially at the feet?
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm not a
Anything
strong.
else fancy to try there? Okay.
I'm no strong person. I'm the talky, charmy, singy person.
Okay.
Ooh, but I can jump 30 feet vertically. Could I like hook it around my
yourself a-
horn and then like jump upwards? Like hook it up on my horns and like jump?
Try to tear it off of his foot.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Okay.
Mhm.
It says you can jump up to 30 feet vertically or horizontally without a running start.
Okay, so you're going to use that to try to tear these
It's called
the roots,
bounding legs.
tear the roots out, the roots that are holding.
I'm assuming it only
Silvio's-
can go 15 feet because our magic is like dampened or something here.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if you even get a good check because your body check is.
Oh, is it a
coming up.
check? Because it's a talent. Okay.
Well, right, and that'll allow you to do it, but you're really you're trying to think of it like you're trying to disarm the earth of Silvio, like you're trying to tear him away from it.
Okay.
So you're getting. I was going to. Okay. Yeah, we'll do it this way. You'll gain advantage out of the fact that you've got this like these powerful legs that you can bound like that. So it'll be a body check with advantage at a target number 5.
Do I have any conditions, or am I? Do I have any fears that are applied here?
Oh yeah, there
Um,
is a dead condition on my
Yeah,
sheet.
that's what I was wondering. I'm like,
Does that apply?
Does that apply here?
Oh.
There's like
Um,
afraid, rattled, terrified, unconscious, exhausted, injured, broken, and dead.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's an emotional track and a physical track of conditions. With you being dead, the physical track, technically you are dead, but you don't mark the other track spots because normally you if you go high enough up on that track, you start to lose dice. So that's because your physical body is hurt. For example, so no,
But
you
our
don't. You're
physical
not
body's
suffering.
fine?
Well, your physical right now, your physical
Wherever it
like
is.
ghostly body is perfectly fine now.
Okay.
Should it take damage? Should it become hurt or discorporeated or something like that? Who knows? You don't know how that. You can try.
Okay.
And try to see what that would be. But so I'm going to do this. You've got advantage because of the bounding legs. Body check target number 5. If you want to take the chance, and because you don't know like how this might hurt Silvio in the process, you can just do it like that and gain advantage because you're not going to. Or sorry, you had advantage. You'll just make the check normally. If you want to be careful, so that you're not like, because you don't know what this might do to like this ghostly form that you don't really know how it functions. If you want to try to be careful, I'm going to apply disadvantage.
Okay. I would like to be careful, so I will
which would
roll.
cancel each other out, but so you make a
Yes.
straight body.
I'll
check.
make a straight body check because I would like to be careful. I care for Silvio.
Thank you.
What was my? I should ask.
Target number 5.
Okay, no successes. Is this
Okay.
our first failure?
And I think we've had
Yes.
somebody's marked skill at some point. Yes, no, okay. Well,
I don't
mark
think so.
skill.
So marked my skill.
And you are not able to like you wrench at it with your horns and you push with your powerful legs and you cannot get this root to let go.
I don't think it's going to budge.
She's like, oh well, I love you and bye. no, she doesn't do that.
I look concerned, and then like I nudge, Silvio, like like when a dog is like concerned, like and like nudges your arm or something. I do that, but to his branch. What should
He's
we
grumbling.
do? I look at the rest of you.
I feel like Gliss has actually flown away because she expected
Where's
like
Gliss?
the group to follow. And was stuck, so she is already in. Yeah, and so she turns around and like nobody's behind her.
Oh yeah, now you're all alone.
Yep, now I'm all alone, which I hate.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Gliss, how do we? Oh,
Where's Gliss?
we'll find out when we get Silvio back out the Earth, and I know the Earth. Just let me prepare myself.
You got this. You rock.
Yeah. And I'm going to use my stone call magic to try and scoop him out the Earth.
Yay!
Okay.
I can spend a spirit, and I call forth and move rocks as large as I am.
Ooh.
They must always touch the ground or each other, so I can do
From
fun
within
stacking
the
things.
earth, you call up rocks. If anybody
Yes.
has seen Labyrinth, this is Ludo.
I have the power.
Yay!
Power of voodoo.
So cool. I'm so into this.
All
I'm so
right,
excited
you
right now.
spend a
You know, Craig,
spirit.
you're gonna have to come back for like a long-term campaign of this because I'm in. I'm like in right now.
Yeah.
So, because of where you are, you spend a spirit, and you have a choice.
Oh.
Ooh.
Using, like putting your spirit into something, putting that sense of self, that inner power that you have, because you are this ephemeral, ghostly, perhaps dead thing. It's difficult. So you will need to spend 2 spirit, or you can spend a spirit and suffer a condition of your choice.
Ooh.
You will weaken
Okay.
yourself in the process by putting your force of will in there.
I think I'm going to spend 1 spirit, and Ignor's going to become exhausted.
This is going to take it out of him.
So what does the
He's
exhausted effect
hardy.
do?
So at the moment, the effect for exhausted is 0.
Yes,
For
the
me.
first condition doesn't affect your dice checks, and then as you go up the condition track,
Well, in
you lose
fact,
dice.
I have another talent, which is unshakable and unbreakable, which means that I can go another 2 before I have to take any disadvantages.
Oh,
But
nice.
it's still a disadvantage. So yeah, I take exhausted, and he's like, sometimes the rocks don't come up the way you want them. They get stuck on other rocks and trees. But that's the point this time. And rocks come up from underneath you, and you end up perched on a collection of boulders.
The rocks climb up, right from beneath your feet. Up you go. The roots that are grasping at your feet and your legs get stretched and pulled. A couple of them snap, and they hiss when they snap, and now you are perched atop rocks. You feel a moment of relief. There was like just starting to build in the back of your head, just slightly, was the feeling that maybe it wasn't so bad to just stay right there. Like you have the feeling that if you had waited too long, that if your friends had not gotten you out, you would have been fine with just staying there rooted. And you are free.
Ninny, this is a bad place.
Yeah, I told you that before, but then you all were telling me that. It's fine. It's not real. We're not dead. But I think we are.
No, we are not dead, I do not think, but this place will envelop us like the earth in a bad way, not in a good way.
I don't like it here. We should leave.
And I do this thing where I keep moving my feet up and down, just like it's a little kind of like just it's kind of like marching in place, but just really like just because now I'm like concerned that if I stay too long, I will start gathering moss in a way that I do not want to. Rolling stone, Ignior. Do not gather moss.
Oh, you know him.
We should not leave Gliss alone.
If you want a good collection of moss, you should go and meet Standing Stone. He's the one to ask about that.
And I will start moving because I'm a little bit slower than everybody else, because I feel like if I get my head start, they'll catch up with me as quickly as possible.
And Sylvia walks off, perhaps raising your feet like a little more exaggerated. Like if you could keep both feet off of the ground at the same time, you would.
I follow. And
well, you know what? Skipping would do that.
Yes.
Ooh.
Skipping would keep your feet off would have
I think
both
Ninny
feet off the ground
suggests
for a
this.
portion of the time.
I think Ninny suggests this actually.
Fair.
She kind of
There you
like
go.
she skips and she's like, maybe you should try this, and she's like skipping around you.
And did we didn't get our wings, did we?
Oh, you didn't quite get to that.
No, poor Gliss.
So I will skip then. But I skip, but I have but it is not a gleeful skip.
Not
It is
graceful.
a slightly concerned skip, is what I would say.
We all know that. We've all done that skip.
It's 2020.
Yeah.
2020 skip.
True.
Where on earth has Gliss gotten to?
I hope she is not in the earth.
You look around and you can't find Gliss. She's gone. Gliss, you look around.
Gliss,
When you
Gliss,
wandered
where
off,
are
you headed
you?
off, you thought everybody would be with you. You were heading off and you suddenly realized, I'm all alone. There's no one here. And you look back and the graveyard is there the way you left it. You remember kind of seeing it. There's that one statue that you remember seeing. But your friends are gone and you are
I
alone.
lift rocks and I'm like,
Gliss, are you there? Gliss.
Maybe they already made it to the town. Yeah, I saw movement there, so I'm going to start flying as close as I can to the town to see if I can find other people.
You start flying, and your little wings flapping away, and darting as you often do. It's usually not a beeline straight towards something. It's often kind of all over the place. And you feel that you are doing this. You are moving. You're flitting around like you normally do. And the town isn't getting any closer. And you look back at the graveyard and it's the same distance away. And you are stuck where you were and you are alone.
Oh no. I'm gonna like start telling myself another story to just keep myself kind of calm. And if I can use Fear Be Gone on myself, I will just, this is something I'm kind of used to doing, is just talking to myself and sharing a story, keeping myself calm and continuing that, but I'll just kind of keep flying and hoping that I'll meet my destination while just talking to myself.
You don't have to tell the whole story, but what's the story about?
Probably about a small little sprite who kept moving forward and kept pushing forward despite all adversity, and that she, you know, moved past all of the darkness and got to the light, and she'll just keep kind of sharing that story.
And did she say, I think I can, I think I can, I think
Exactly. The little,
And you
the little
kind of
fae that could.
you get to the end of the story and you say about like, and there's the resolution, and she found her way to the light and everything was wonderful. And then you hear a voice, and it is your voice in your ear saying, what happened next?
Oh no.
You look around and there's no one there because you are alone.
Oh no.
And then she lived happily ever after.
No. No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
But she could.
What do you mean? She did. She could. She would have. Trying to reassure herself.
You are filled with fear. This is all in your voice. You are filled with fear. I can take that fear away.
You can?
If you promise to serve me.
She's
Promise now, and you will never be afraid again.
Gliss, she hears herself, so she feels almost tempted by this, but she's just gonna keep saying the story over and over again. She's gonna even like start over. There once was a small sprite who kept going forward, kept pushing through the darkness, made it to the light. She's just gonna keep telling herself the story.
You will be afraid forever. And then the voice you feel is gone. Make a heart check. Target number 5.
Oh boy. All right, let's do this. Heart 4. All right, I rolled a 6.
But you get
It is-
shadow.
But yeah, and a 1.
No, target number 5, 1 success, gain a spirit.
Oh,
Because this is
4.
Gliss, and that's what Gliss does. Is gain spirit.
Oh
I
my
thought you said
gosh,
target
I
4,
know.
not target 5.
Did I?
I thought you
No,
said
you said
target
5.
Okay.
I said 5. Okay.
All right, cool. I'm
It's
just hearing
possible.
things.
Yeah, I'm just saying things.
Wow.
But
feel like
okay,
we're
so
all
yeah,
just
gain a
hearing
spirit. It's
things.
just in keeping with Gliss's
I'm
nature.
3 away from filling my entire.
Ooh, yeah. What
Yeah,
happens when you
spilling-
fill your
fill-
spirit?
You just can't gain anymore, so you got to start
okay.
spending.
Okay.
You guys
Okay.
spending. Or giving.
Or giving it away.
Yeah, if you have a
um,
talent.
Well, and you're here, and like if you've got talents that require spirit, you can spend 2 spirit. That's part of what's going on here. So you're in good shape for that, actually.
If she would have failed that, would she have gotten like the afraid condition or something?
If she had failed that, I would have marked her. She would have gone in, down into one of the emotional conditions. The moment is over. The voice of you that you are sure was not actually you, but was some dark, foreboding thing that was tempting you, dissipates, and with your steeled resolve and telling this story to yourself over and over, you are back, and Silvio, Ignior, and Ninny, you see Gliss just appears out of nowhere, 100 feet away toward the town.
Gliss! Gliss!
I'm like looking under another rock.
Ignior, maybe you should talk to your rock friends. Gliss!
Well, they don't know where.
I see
Gliss! Where have you
Oh,
been?
Too loud.
Then she
Liz, where have you been?
immediately will be flying towards you guys. Oh my gosh. And she's pretty fast. So even though you may have seen her off in the distance, she's like, she darts towards you guys.
And as soon as you're around me, I like prance around and like excitedly, like, you know, like a dog's excited, like excitedly going around you and like checking to make sure your every little wing is okay.
And I just put out a branch so that you can like sit on it because
she
that makes me feel better.
She takes a seat for the first time. She's like not flapping her wings anymore, and she just like and she grabs her head like, oh man.
Are you okay?
I
You're not hurt, are you? What happened?
I thought you guys were behind me. I might have gotten a little too ahead of myself there, and I started flying away toward Nocturne. And as I was flying, I looked behind me, and you guys were gone, and you were completely gone. Everything. And I kept flying toward the town, and I couldn't make it. And then I heard a voice in my head.
Oh, that's not good. Sometimes I
was
hear
me.
voices in my head too. It's usually telling me not to eat stuff.
You should always eat all of the things. Was the voice Drumble?
But one time I ate that mushroom and it made me real sick.
Well, not all of the things. You should have asked the mushroom if it was safe first. I think it was just upset.
Oh, I'll do that next time.
Where's the voice? Because if it
it-
tried to scare you, then
It
I'll
did.
crush it.
It did.
I'll eat it.
It was telling me to give in to my fear.
This place is awful.
It is.
We should be undead and back in reverie.
I want to go home now.
I'm telling you,
Well,
I was
this is-
flying.
Well, home's right over there.
Yeah, that's Nocturne.
Yeah.
I thought we could make it. I don't know. I was flying toward there, and I was not getting any closer. Maybe one of you guys are, you guys are bigger than me. Maybe you'll make it there closer than me.
I'm
I
sorry,
will protect you from the voice.
Silvio got stuck and we had to get him out.
I got stuck in the earth. It was no longer my friend. It made me want to stay here forever and never leave. Become a tree that does not move, not a treekin at all. That's no good. But Gliss, you are not alone. You have us.
Guys, again, this place is too scary.
But don't be afraid. You have Nini and me and Ignior. We are friends.
Yes.
If
You
I
guys
was
will
going to be
protect me.
stuck in a place like this with anybody, I'd want to be stuck with all of you.
Well, fortunately, we're not stuck. So that's fine.
Not
Are
anymore.
You sure?
I look around.
I'm going to go and find the village elders. They'll know what to do.
I will come with you. Come, let us go. And I start my because I've
Skipping.
yeah, I've been like it's this kind of like low key skipping, like low energy skip is what it is. It's like a little low energy skip with Gliss in my brain.
Sad skipping.
Sad skipping.
The
Sad,
concerns.
sad
Aw.
skipping.
All right. You start making your way toward the town, toward Nocturne. And you get past the point where Gliss wasn't able to continue, making your way closer and closer. And as you get close to the edge of the town, you see that indeed there are ghosts. There are things, ghostly forms of all size and shape, flitting about the town. The buildings themselves look like the buildings you know. They are the right size, the right shape, but they are decaying and falling apart. One of the one end of the meeting hall, which is a grand, taller building in the center of town, is caved in and broken. One house is completely caved in and broken in upon itself. The others are doors are missing, or shutters are askew on one hinge. Ghosts are moving about the streets, flitting about. There's a great many of them down near the center of the town. As you get closer to the town, the meeting hall sparks to life with fire. Fire begins tracing itself across the meeting hall, which stands next to the square where you had all been at the beginning of the story. And the fire traces itself up the walls of the meeting hall to the roof, consuming the building, but not burning it away. Like nothing falls, nothing breaks. The fire doesn't pass to another building, but this building is on fire as you get closer and closer to the town. And Silvio.
No, I do
see
not get
this.
closer to the town. The minute I see fire, that forward momentum just stops, and it's just the little standing with the little feet in place, and there's no more, there's just no more forward momentum, none at all. Nope, no.
Put all the people in there. I'm going to check it out.
We have to help them. I'll go with you.
And I trudge forward quickly.
I'm gonna go up to the burning front door and see if I can knock it open.
Well, you make your way into the square, and you're wandering through all these ghosts, and they're not paying attention to you. They're not paying attention to each other. They're all just milling about. In the center of the square, where Silvio often takes up root to entertain the children and to tell stories and to watch over the town, there is a statue of a stonekin who is wearing you see their stony body, but the body itself has also been carved. It seems like perhaps they're wearing something, or perhaps it has been carved to look like armor, to look like plate armor on the shoulder, greaves on the legs, and a breastplate. There's a insignia that's sort of carved into the wood or into the stone. And there's a statue of this stonekin that is very tall, is 25 feet tall. The standing in front of the statue itself is that exact stonekin, but a ghost. And it is sitting on a stump which stands where Silvio would have planted himself were this the town, the stump of a tree. And it is sitting on the stump of a tree, and it is crying. This ghost is head in hands, sobbing, and all the other ghosts are milling about, not able to, not going anywhere, not talking to one another, not interacting with the ghost of the stonekin soldier, not paying attention to you. But they all look very forlorn and very worried, very sad.
I walk kind of with my head down a little bit and
Drumble?
The stonekin ghost looks up. What do you want?
Why are you sad?
Because I have killed all of you. Cut to Silvio and Gliss. Silvio is not moving, and Gliss is keeping company.
Yep.
Just shuffling my
Gliss-
feet.
Gliss is gonna try to do what she does best again, and just try to, calm Silvio, and knowing that he's very afraid of fire, we'll can just be talking to him and trying to keep him calm. Fear be gone.
You could attempt to help help Silvio overcome his fear, at least for a time. Like in the game, mechanically, like you're role playing out the fear appropriately, of course, and you've got you would suffer disadvantage on checks, but also the fears can be overcome, at least in the moment. Like if Gliss was to provide the right sort of encouragement, the right sort of friendship, the right sort of help, then Silvio could at least deal with this particular instance of something being on fire.
Okay.
So-
I think I would actually, do that exactly. Try to help him overcome, at least for the scene, to help him overcome his fear. So she'll continue again. She'll come up with a story and talk about a large group of trees whose trunks were filled with water, and as they stretched their arms out like hoses, the water had spread across the fire and helped to dissipate the fire. And that
I love it.
Please, what were the names of each of the trees? Do I know them?
Well, one of them was named one was oak,
I
one
don't know
was
that one.
a maple,
Mm,
and I think there was one named chestnut, which that sounds familiar.
but
Epic
my-
lineage.
My name is Chestnut.
Hmm.
I am a chestnut.
Maybe like the chestnut of old and yore, you too can overcome this fire. Maybe you too have water that can grow from your trunks and dissipate the fire.
Well, I know something about pixies. I know they are magical. And if you say that the water in the tree, we call it sap, may help us, then
Yes.
I believe you.
Yes.
Okay.
Gliss is gonna like, so, and she's gonna continue the story, like, and then the sap, it came over and it dissipated on the fire and helped it come down, and all of the flames began to simmer and simmer.
And with each bit of the story, I just take another step forward and another step forward. It's like, I have never tried to send sap out of my hands. And it's like, it's kind of just listening to her words and letting that be the thing that I'm focusing on rather than that blazing fire. And I'm just trying to really imagine that my body is not as desiccated as it feels in this sort of space that is devoid of magic, that I still have sap running through myself and my body, and that it will be okay. And so I just listen to Gliss, and I move forward, and I just think, Ninny is there. I should be there. We should be there. Sap.
As you start forward, bolstered by Gliss's story and her care, if you now you can choose to do that. You've done that. That's fine. If you wish to, you can also make a heart check to attempt to remove the disadvantage that you're suffering mechanically. And I believe Gliss has a way of helping with that.
And I'm going to take heart by this story.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to roll my heart. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll heart.
Target number 5. What does Gliss have to offer?
Gliss has a boundless heart, which gives you advantage on heart checks to help you through this. So she as she sees you moving forward and she's telling her story, she just very much will even physically like aid you and beyond the story will help you spread your arms and yeah, so she'll give you that advantage.
So the advantage cancels out the disadvantage. You make a heart check, target number 5.
1.
Ooh. Grab yourself some spirit.
1 success. Grab some. You gain spirit, and at least for the scene, and I suppose pretty much for the end of our story today, the fire is not going to affect you that way. You're still perhaps wary of it, but you're not suffering mechanically for it, and you are able to continue into the town. Back with
one of my little smallest branch limbs, like the little, like not the huge limb, but like one of the smaller ones with leaves on it, just sort of curls around Gliss's tiny hand, so that I have some support.
I want fan art of that. That's so
I know,
cute.
right?
I want fan art of everything, like this whole episode. I love it.
I love it.
And you start making your way in. Back with and this actually, all of this happened very quickly. I mean, to be honest, this whole thing with you happened before they even had this kind of like while the other two were still walking on their way in. So you're not terribly far behind them. So with and so you make your way into the town and you see all of what I've described previously, all these ghosts wandering around. And as you get closer to the center of the town, you see the stump and you see the statue and the Stonekin ghost, and you see your friends speaking to the Stonekin soldier. And the last thing he said was, "I killed all of you." And he looks up with these just pleading eyes to Ninny, and then his head swivels also then to Ignior, to one of his brethren. And he starts to break down when he sees that you are here as well, and you are a ghost and you are dead. And
Ninny runs up and nuzzles him.
I am so sorry.
Why would you do that? I don't like it here.
I was afraid.
We all get afraid. I'm
The
afraid of a lot of
darkness
things.
came,
The darkness especially.
and my family, my friends, I was afraid. And I promised to help it if it would spare them. And it cost so much more. I have been afraid all my life. And I am so very sorry.
Yes.
He buries his head down into his hands again and sobs.
Ninny lifts his head up with her nose, and you know how you can hold someone's chin up with your finger, she does it with the nose, and she looks at him and says,
It's okay. I mean, can't change what happened here. What you can do is use your fear to help everyone now.
How?
Well,
Make it
I'm-
right again. And Ignor's gonna stomp up and hit him really hard.
Military.
Ignior!
Get his Ignior. You go up, you crack him one. The military training that he had snaps into place, and he stands up, snaps to attention, and looks like in body looks like a different person.
Oh, you're
he's
very tall.
not crouched and crumbled in front of the statue. He's now standing up straight, but he still has this pleading, sad face.
I'm gonna spend a spirit and use emotional depth.
You're going to spend 2 spirit, or you're going to take a condition.
I'm gonna go up to injured because I'm gonna continue to
Was it
hit
when you
him.
hit him? Like you hurt yourself and
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
hurt
yeah,
my
I'm
hand.
fine.
There's a horrible cracking sound of rock splitting. I'm like, you've got to make it right. And I use emotional depth to connect with Drumble and make sure that he feels my anger and determination. And I don't know, hopefully that bolsters him in some way to motivate him.
As the Stonekin are described on the character sheet, that they have a depth of feeling that is unparalleled amongst the other folk. They while they may not show it on their face, they feel emotions very deeply, and you connect, and you like Drumble feels your anger and your determination, and your belief in him, and his face changes, and he stops crying, his lip stops quivering, he composes himself, he looks to all of you, and this is at this moment Silvio and Gliss arrive, and you've seen Ignior like punch this guy. Something that you've not seen much out of Ignior once in a while in the time that you've known
I
him.
have seen him get angry once before, I feel like.
It's like an earthquake. It's rare, but when it happens, it is surprising and shocking, and it tends to change things around him. And he is confronting this soldier. The man is no longer crying. He says, "But what can I do?"
Make us undead. I don't care. And I like start trying to knock over the statue of him.
You have to let them go. A ghost said to us that you would not let them go. I think you must let them go.
All of them?
Yes. And I take one of the shards of rock that has splintered, and I reach to one of my, because I'm thinking about what Gliss told me, and I look at Ninny for support, and I take one of these shards and I bring out one of my branches, and I cut into my branch. And I want to make a heart check to do this, and I will use all the 2 spirit that I have left to sort of bring up a well of sap, which would be the kind of like the most life that I have left in this that's sort of still lingering in my, if I imagine if there's still magic from Reverie lingering in the earth, there must still be sap that is sort of like the kind of life still lingering in my undead body. And I want to spend all of my spirit to bring up the sap in one of my branches. And I want to hand it to him to drink, because if in Gliss's story, the tree was able to sort of extinguish this fire through water, then maybe if the Stonekin drinks the sap that I have given all of my spirit for, it might give them enough life left.
What happens when you have no spirit?
We'll find out. I spend all of my spirit to do that. That is what I do.
You offer that up.
I don't know if I have to make a heart check.
Well, why not? We'll have he accepts it. He drinks it, and once he's drinking it, now we will find out the potency of it with a target number 5 heart check.
I do have advantage,
and you did spend some spirit, so at the very least you're getting you're gaining 1 die from spending spirit. The other spirit is kind of just powering this thing. Did you have advantage from something else?
I should get an advantage for leaf and needle because I'm deciduous, for bolstering and helping others.
Okay, so you are at plus 2 dice for whatever your heart normally is.
Okay, all right. 1 6.
Ow.
I assume it's a difficulty 6. I don't know what difficulty is.
It was a 5.
Okay.
You gain a spirit.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm so glad.
I was worried that I was gonna. I was like, maybe I don't know what happens when you have no spirit.
I was like Ninny's
bad.
gonna cry if something bad
And
happens.
he says, I can let them all go, but then I'll be alone.
No,
I don't know if I can do that.
you won't
You'll-
be alone.
You'll never be alone.
And I kind of look at Sylvia, and I think we like say this together.
Mm,
They'll always be in your heart.
mm.
He turns and he smashes the statue behind him. And as this massive statue falls, it crumbles to pieces around him. And in its place is a column of black energy swirling with reds and yellows and oranges and greens and all the beautiful colors of the rainbow. The colors spread and open, and it forms a portal, a gateway. And you looking within it in this magical portal, you see whatever it is you want to see, like where you would want to be individually. So each of you, where would you want to be?
There is a
I-
grove in the Sunwood where all the trees are, it's like right at dusk, and all the trees are in that one moment, the magic hour, where all the leaves are shining especially bright and glowing almost. It is this open little grove where I first saw Ninny. I was there in the grove, just rooted and sitting, and she came by into this grove, and there's a little stream, a little creek, and it was where I first saw her, where we first met. And sometimes we go and sit in this grove together right at dusk and dawn, and that is the place that I would go, where I'd want to go.
And I think similarly, Ninny kind of is thinking the
I
same
hope so.
thing. And you know, in her vision, she like drinks from the water and then like snuggles in close and kind of like lays down around the roots, like around the roots of the tree.
As each of you are envisioning that through this portal, a number of the ghosts around you look into the portal. They see something, smiles cross their faces, and they start walking into the portal, and they disappear. They don't go to the grove. They're not in this grove that you're seeing. They just disappear into the portal. Ignior and Gliss, what do you each see?
I think Gliss would see. Well, first she would see her family. Her pixie family, and kind of like in their homes, like little small homes with lots of flowers and mushrooms and leaves falling, and she sees her entire family there. But then kind of behind it, she actually sees all of you. She sees Ninny, Ignior, and Silvio as her new family in a sense. So she sees that in front of her.
Where are we? Where are we? Where's the location? Are we by your family? Where are we?
You guys are like
Excited.
kind of behind, because like the pixie homes are very small and very tiny, so it's kind of like this like miniature set that you see in front of you, but then in the background behind, kind of like you see a big tree, and then you see a stone like kind of horizon, and then you'll see a little fawn kind of with flowers and petals behind her.
Oh, it's like we're like the guardians of her little fairy village.
Yeah.
So cute.
And Ignior?
I think Ignior sees one of Nocturne's festivals that happens on a hill that he often sits on when he's overlooking the town and watching out for trouble and the void. And he's just imagining himself sat there with a cup of something extremely sweet and sickly, with everyone else like running around. There's fireworks, and there's like stalls and treats and all sorts of things for everyone in the town to enjoy, and they're all just kind of listening to music and partying.
More of the ghosts go through the gate and disappear to wherever they are going. Each of you walks into the gate, and
I
you
wait.
end up.
I wait last.
You wait last. Each of you goes through the gate, and you end up in the place that you described, apart from one another, if that is the case.
Before I step through, I want to send my branch out to Drumble.
Drumble looks to you. says, I thank you, but I am well and truly gone, and I cannot go to wherever you are going.
I don't believe that. You should try. If you try, you may learn you are not gone.
He takes your branch and he walks with you through the gate.
And I describe the place where we're going as we are walking through. It's like, there is a grove in the sunwood, as I walk with him through.
And each of you ends up in the place that you envisioned at the gate. Silvio, you walk through, and there is your love, Ninny. And Ninny, Silvio has brought a friend with him, as Drumble is miraculously, somehow, alive. And the group of you have returned to your bodies, to your home of reverie, to whatever place it is you are at. You can, in the future, find each other again, obviously. Some steps have been taken against the void. The town of Nocturne may keep its name, but with ghosts being able to move on to wherever they go now, where they were once prevented from doing so, there are not nearly as many ghosts wandering about the town, and the grip that the forces of the void had on Nocturne have lessened. And in the coming years, in the coming struggles with the void, Drumble, because of all of you, gets a chance to atone for what he did last time. And that is Good Strong Hands, everybody.
Yay! I
So cute.
love it.
I love it. That was an awesome story.
Oh, yeah.
I would have also loved it if we all just were, if he would have just ended it where he was like, I killed you all. Like, that would have been a great ending too. Like, I was half expecting that to be like the end there.
I was wondering what people might do with Drumble, and I thought that if Drumble was supposed to go somewhere else, and he was afraid of being alone, I wouldn't have been surprised if somebody would have wanted to go with him. And I was kind of preparing, like, okay, well, what does that look like? If, for example, Gliss, who has a similar fear, I was thinking, like, maybe we'll see. But you found another way to help Drumble. So there we go. Well done, everybody.
It was magical.
Yeah.
It was so
If you give him
good.
enough sap, he might have enough life left then infusing him. Come with us.
You resurrected someone, which does not happen in Reverie.
Ooh.
Wow.
You gave your like life force for it, and like
That was pretty awesome.
I loved that like it all hinged on you rolling only one success in order to get your spirit back, and I was like,
Yeah.
what is the likelihood of that, right? Like,
Because if I'd
oh
gotten
my
two
gosh.
successes and I didn't get any spirit back, maybe I wouldn't have been able to, like, maybe it would have been real bad.
What would have happened if he had no spirit left?
If you hadn't been able to, as far as taking, well,
Like if you go to zero spirit, like you
check?
have no more spirit.
Because I mean, that heart
if
check,
you have no spirit, you're just out of spirit. I mean,
Oh, okay.
there's no negative effects to it.
Oh, okay.
You
Because, like-
just don't have spirit. You can't use talents. I mean, it could hinder your character fairly significantly if your character is heavy on talents. That you suddenly don't have access to any of those until you can get more spirit.
Makes sense. If you're a spirit heavy character.
So yeah, but you can build a character such that you aren't. You can build a character that has a number of talents that don't rely on spirit. So
I'm just saying, Ignior got through to his feelings, and Gliss told the story about how the sap could put out the fire, and then Ninny spoke to him and said that he would never be alone because we would be in his heart, and I feel like all of that made it so that we could take him back. with
Yeah.
us.
It was a 50-50 between me trying to get through to him and me just turning him to stone permanently.
because you do have the petrification corruption.
Yeah, I could have just been really, really angry at him and been like, you don't get to move anymore.
I was
Although
was
he is
curious what
Stonekin,
you were gonna
so I don't
do.
Yeah, we didn't quite manage to get somebody to flip and gain a corruption. I know we were close with a few
Oh.
characters, but
Maggie, you have
toward the end there, people stopped
Three
Bowling-
more. I needed three
rolling
more.
so much higher.
How many did you need, Josh?
I think I only needed 2 more.
Okay.
And fun fact, if I petrify someone, that's 2 permanent.
Oh.
Oh no, I only
Oh,
needed
wow.
1 more.
Oh. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Yep.
any of the corruptions, and here's a glimpse inside the game design. Any of the corruptions that essentially just up and kill somebody or otherwise remove them from the story cost
Mm.
2 permanent shadow. So you
Ah,
are
that
very
makes
limited in
sense.
how much you can do it, but you can.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So
What
like
would happen?
fawns have an endless dance.
Yep, endless
It makes
dance.
someone dance forever.
Yeah.
Which effectively just removes them from any storyline. And so that's the really expensive one for fawns.
That's horrifying. I love it though.
Yeah.
So
I
what
ended up going with
happens-
the song because I had a whole singing theme, so I kind of stuck with it.
What would have happened if one of those 2 had filled up their corruption bar?
If they had filled the shadow, they would then erase all the shadow back down to nothing, and they would gain another corruption. And then in the game, if you gain all of your corruptions, each character has 3 that they can get. If you gain all the corruptions and then you fill up shadow again, then you stop playing that character, and that character falls to the void, becomes
Yeah.
You become like a baddie in the story.
an agent of the
Yeah.
shadow.
Yeah.
They can be
Oh.
redeemed potentially. You could have a whole adventure that is revolves around redeeming them.
That would be cool.
In the Good Strong Hands book, there is a story scheme in there that is that has that sort of incorporated into it. That part of the story can be you are redeeming a fallen character.
Ooh.
I love it.
So
Well,
that's it
we
gives
have
you
to-
an example of how to do that.
we do have to wrap up because we do have the last ditch coming right after this. So we're going to quickly go through the outro stuff and also let everybody say where you can find them at. But first and foremost, thank you, Nurburger Craig, for sponsoring this show and also bringing us Good Strong Hands. We do have the Kickstarter link in the chat if you do have our exclamation point sponsor. And then also if you're watching this on YouTube, it is in the description below. Definitely go check it out. Support the Kickstarter, show it some love, and you get some really cool rewards in return. And I think Craig has added on some extra bonus stuff there because we've hit like major milestones, which is so cool. So I'm excited to see what more awesome things we get in the book, and I'm really loving the system. I am definitely going to play it in some campaigns because this is amazing. So yeah, thank you. So without further ado, I will go through quick stuff. So we have monthly recap is out. Definitely go check that out if you're interested in how Roll4 works and what we do on the internal side to make it all come to fruition. And then of course we have lots of goodies coming for all our stuff on Patreon. But Battle of Endora goodies are coming in regards to like like NPC characters and things of that sort. So if you want to run the campaign yourself for that battle part, you totally can. And then it is the last chance to grab Legend tiers for this month. There are a few spots left, so if you're interested in being GM'd by one of our Roll4 cast members and possibly being able to affect our games, you should definitely go check it out because some of those games affect our games, like The Last Ditch with the rear guard. And then, of course, stay tuned for Only War, The Last Ditch Warhammer show. If you're interested in it, it's going to come right after this. We're going to take a short break and then come back. And then as well, if you want to follow us on all the places at Roll For It, that's where you can always keep up with all the stuff that we got going on. Craig, I'm going to let you kick it off with telling people where they can find you at and all of that jazz.
Yeah, you can find me at Nerdburger Craig on Twitter. Just if you want, I'll keep an eye on everything, especially this afternoon. So if you have questions about the game or the Kickstarter, feel free. I'll respond right back at you. The game is called Good Strong Hands. It's on Kickstarter right now. Please get on board if you dig it. If you think you might, we want to keep moving and keep moving toward stretch goals. Somebody asked in the chat, there will not be like a backer kit with add-ons and things afterwards. There are ways. I'm handling it kind of all within the Kickstarter itself because it's not as big of a scale of a kind of thing, but there's ways to get our other games. And then there's of course multiple tiers to get different things.
Other games like the Amazing Capers games you do?
Yeah.
like Capers and Die Laughing and Murders and Acquisitions and
All
the,
good stuff. Definitely go check them out. And they're all kind of different systems too, which is really fun.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for designing the system specifically for the game, so you'll learn a new different kind of.
We have a
interesting
Capers
system.
show up if you want to check that out, and I think Josh was in that too. You can go check that out on our YouTube channel if you just go in the search engine engine with capers and search roll for it, you'll find it. But that was a 4-shot, super fun. Definitely go check it out. It has like a card element to it, which is really, really, really neat. So thank you, Craig, for bringing us amazing games. I'm excited to see what future ones are down the line. And of course, I'm really loving Good Strong Hands. My next person I'm going to go to is our lovely, nutty Silvio. Because you also got to help with this game in regards to like safety tools and stuff like that. So
Yeah, did some sensitivity reading actually
Yeah.
for it. Very exciting. I just want to say one of the things I really like about this game is that people are like, oh, I love playing fantasy. Fantasy is very popular, but fantasy has its roots in fairy tales. But very few of our fantasy RPGs work well for telling fairy tales. And I really feel like Good Strong Hands, you can really get that feeling of a really good fairy tale, which can be like wholesome and heartwarming, but also super scary. Like fairy tales can be scary in a way that like you might not get in your like traditional kind of big power fantasy. So I love that about this game, that you can really tell something very magical in a way that is quite different than a lot of other games. And so all the love for that.
all right. Anything else you want to say where people can find you at and stuff?
Oh, yeah, you can find me Trooper S. Yeah, sorry, I'm just like, this game is great. Sorry.
No,
You
it's
can-
okay.
you can find me at Trooper SJP on my channel. I'm currently GMing a Fate French Resistance campaign on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
So
and
good.
Academic Foxhole, you can find me on Twitter.
Yeah, definitely go follow for some good.
The
good
French
stuff.
Resistance game is way less wholesome. It's the middle of World War II. It's occupied Paris. It's way less wholesome, but it's got the feels.
Speaking of way less wholesome, Josh. No, I'm just kidding. I love picking on Josh. I love you. Lovely awesome makeup today. Josh was like, "Should I do makeup?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yes.
Always love your
For the
cosplay.
people asking, this is supposed to be diorite. I've not just written arcane symbols all over my face. Ignore was made of diorite. But anyway, hi, I'm Josh. You can find me, if you want to follow my TTRPG stuff, over at Strange Adventures on YouTube, where I do vampire, and
You're in
occasionally
a lot of
other-
vampire stuff.
so much vampire stuff. I'm GMing a new campaign. I'm in a new podcast. It's just all over. But yeah, I want to say thanks to Craig, because I am a massive fan of Labyrinth, and just being able to create that fairy, like kooky, dark fairy world is great. And I love the, Grimm's fairy tales as well. So it's perfect for that kind of vibe.
I was
Really
waiting for you, Josh, to petrify the stone, and then we'd be stuck there
Really
forever,
wanted
and that
to,
was the
but
end.
the vibes were too wholesome. I couldn't mess with that.
You could have just like got your inner wrathfulness in there. I loved it though. It
I
was
got some
great.
punching.
You
in.
did.
It's fine.
You used your anger, and it was so brilliant because he was like stuck in sadness and despair, and like you were able to use like your red emotions of anger and determination to pull him out. It was so good. It was so good. I
Yeah.
loved it.
It was so good. Speaking of so good, we have Gliss the Pixie, played by Miss Magitech. Tell us where people can find you at.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy, also known as Magitech. You could find me all the places at Miss Magitech. I also play TTRPG stuff all over the internet all week long. So just follow me if you want to find out more. I'm usually also here on Saturdays playing VTM, which is also kind of less wholesome than than this story. So it's kind of a nice change. But echoing everybody else, I was very happy to be part of this story because also it is right up my alley. This kind of storytelling, but also this kind of fantastical world, fey creatures in general. I wish I could be a pixie IRL because I just feel like that's part of me. So
You'll always be a pixie to me.
yeah.
Oh,
That's all I want in life, really. So this kind of storytelling is right up my alley. So I'm very happy I got to play. So thanks for having me.
thanks for
on.
waking up super early, because I know you're also
Yeah.
on the West Coast like me.
Yeah, Maggie and I woke up very early this morning to play, so that's how
Yeah.
you know that we wanted to play this.
Yeah, I think people, like a couple people were kind of a little shocked. They're like, really? All of them decided? They all said yes. And I was like, yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you all so much. I'm Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. I always let you know whenever I'm live. It's best to just follow me so that you know, because I'm kind of on a whole bunch of channels. And I will be here soon. We're going to be playing Warhammer Wrath and Glory, or Warhammer, not Wrath and Glory. Only 4. And we'll be playing on the Last Ditch. So if you want to tune into that, it's going to be a totally different vibe than this. We're going into battle. So get ready for that. And we will see you momentarily. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Craig, again for this amazing game. Definitely go check out Good Strong Hands on their Kickstarter. Give them some support, give them some love, or just go check out the art too. If you click our link, it does help support Roll For It. We really appreciate it. All right. Bye.
Thank you.